corrupt by ICAC. While Gladys Berejiklian won't be charged, her reputation has been gravely damaged by the finding that she engaged in corrupt conduct. Her legal team is now examining the report and could take court action. ICAC has determined her failure to declare her relationship with Darren Maguire and role in directing funding to projects in his electorate constitutes serious corruption. Ms Berejiklian maintains she always worked hard in the public's interest and there is nothing in the report to suggest otherwise.
Melbourne has been rattled by another earthquake overnight. The 4.6 quake occurred at Rawson at a depth of 3 kilometres around 1:30 this morning. It's the second earthquake felt in Melbourne in the past month. More homes are hitting the market in regional areas compared to metropolitan centres. Modelling by CoreLogic predicts 2% of regional homes across the country will be listed for sale before the end of August, up from 1.3% at the same time last year. Research Director Tim Lawless says listings in capital cities will remain low.
We're still seeing the largest cities, Sydney and Melbourne, recording the smallest proportion of properties being prepared to list at the moment. In fact, across Sydney, only 0.7% of homes look to be coming on the market over the next 3 months.
Virgin Galactic has successfully marked its first commercial space flight, with the company making a fresh step into space tourism. More from Lauren Tomasi.
The Galactic 1 mission marks a long-awaited milestone for Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic, with the launch of the first paying customers to the edge of space. The company's inaugural commercial flight was a research-focused mission with Italian Air Force-funded passengers who spent 90 minutes in the sky. Following a safe and successful launch today, the company intends to launch a second mission come August, and monthly flights after that are seek to space, costing more than $680,000.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Get 10-year warranty and 10 years capped price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Kendall. Let's start with cricket first, and Steve Smith has made his 32nd Test century on day 2 of the second Ashes Test at Lords.
Missed out last game, so I was keen to make a few this game. Obviously a huge moment. I love playing here at Lords. You know, I've spent a fair bit of time in the middle the last 2 times this game as well, so it's a nice place to play if you get in, get good value for your shots, and yeah, nice to get myself back up on the honours board again.
The 33-year-old was dismissed for 110 before the Aussies were all out for 416. England reaching 4 for 278 at stumps. Mitchell Starc, Cam Green, Josh Hazlewood and Nathan Lyon each taking a wicket. But the big story surrounds the fitness of Lyon, who had to be carried off the field with a calf injury, which threatens to derail his and the Aussies' Ashes campaign. One game to kick off round 16 of the AFL last night, and it was Brisbane smashing Richmond by 81 points to cement third spot on the ladder. Meantime, the Crows have dropped Lockie Shoal and will start Ned McHenry in tomorrow's home clash against North Melbourne, while the Power have brought back Junior Rioli for tomorrow night's match against Essendon at the MCG. The Cronulla Sharks have cemented themselves in the NRL's top 4 after crushing St George 52 points to 16 last night. And world champions Argentina remain the number 1 ranked nation in men's football, followed by France and Brazil after the latest update from FIFA. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Now the FIVEAA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Showers and 15 today, a shower or 2 tomorrow, a high of 16. Partly cloudy Sunday, 15, and cloudy again for Monday, 14. At the moment, 10. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
6 after 6, good morning on this Friday. I'm so pumped to be behind the panel when this song is playing. Sam and I always dance out in the booth, but God, it's nice to be in studio when that comes on. Now I see how Will feels. It is a Friday. It is another cold Friday morning. Big show on the way. Orazio Fantasia in studio after 8 o'clock, Former opposition leader Bill Shorten also in studio after 8:30. We're heading to the north, Birdsville track. Andrew Norman from the Mungarani Hotel. They've been impacted by this wintry weather. And of course, it is Meat Tray Friday. Plenty of other interviews to fill the show. Feedback Friday as well, of course. Meat Tray Friday, David's last day before holidays. David, how are you feeling? Good morning.
Good morning, Luce. Good morning, folks. I'm feeling excited. Like nothing quite like a holiday. Everyone has that sort of, moment of excitement. And often on the last day at work, you get a little bit ratty. So who knows what's going to happen
Just
over
the
next...
last day?
Well, yeah.
It's been about a month now.
Oh, okay. You're slipping back into producer mode.
No. You guys have been pretty good this year with the old countdown to holidays. It only really started in the week of or the week before for you guys. That's pretty good.
No, I mean, working's good. And I got to say, I feel blessed to have been lucky enough in life to get the job. The one job in life that I really wanted was the job that I've had my whole life. I dropped out of uni, pulled out of my degree, which I was wasting my time studying. I wasn't studying it at all, and just spent all my time working for the student newspaper. And I just loved writing and loved, interviewing people and getting to know about different things and different events and incidents and trends and reading and and to have a job where you never wake up thinking, oh God, you wake up thinking, oh God, I've got to wake up. But when you get to work, it's like, this is fun. This is like, today, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about
meat.
We're going to talk about Adelaide. We're going to talk about the weather. We're going to talk about, really looking forward to getting Tommy Wren's thoughts about the test. Some pretty dramatic developments overnight with Nathan Lyon. And also Steve Smith hurtling further and further into the record books. I remember when I took the job here, and the people who were the bosses at the time said, there's a lot of preparation. They said, you might think that, it sounds like on paper you're working 3 hours, but the reality is, you're sort of working all day. And I said, how do you mean? And they said, well, you need to be across the news cycle. You need to know what the sports results are. You'll probably end up talking to people outside of hours about stories. And I was like, well, I'm sort of doing that already. I'd be doing that even if I wasn't working here. So
it was a natural affiliation for you to go from papers to radio, I think.
Well, yeah,
the background of the job was sort of the same.
Yeah, it is, and because radio's an excellent medium, because radio is like a sort of real-time conversation about the news, whereas newspapers are sort of trying to make sense of it after it's happened, and also break stories that other people don't have, in the hope that they'll sell you newspapers. But radio's, like stuff happens and it's like, oh, crikey, even something like that terrible crash on Goodwood Road the other morning, it becomes a sort of, is it a speeding thing? Is it a
medical?
People talk about the road toll, it's real time, often quite a messy sort of way of covering stories in the moment. And the thing that makes it so good is the listeners, because they're guiding you and providing you with information or providing you with real-time opinions about whether some politician's doing well or talking crap in an interview. The text line, I think having the text line and having talkback makes you much better at analysing things, whether you like them or not. I mean, I would say, like The Voice at the moment, and I'm a bit of a softie, I'm voting yes, but hearing so often from people with their concerns about it, particularly in the middle of a cost of living crisis, means, unlike people in, the Canberra Press Gallery, who are all sitting around talking to each other by and large, you get a much better sense of what the public thinks working at a station like AA than you do being, the ABC correspondent based in Canberra, I reckon.
Yeah, it's good to get a gauge of what the people of Adelaide actually think, and you can be as blunt as you want on the text line. I mean, if you are abusive or you swear, we read them all. We do read them all, but it is good to get that immediate gauge of what people are thinking and what they want to know when they wake up. That's the fun of Brekkie Radio. Yes, it's pitch black outside and freezing cold, but that's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. I've got my puffer jacket on. And,
you didn't go to the gym at 2:30 again, did you, Liz?
No, you know what? My alarm did go off this morning. I didn't sleep very well.
Not at 2:02 again, I hope.
It did, but I didn't sleep very well last night, so I turned it off and had another hour's sleep.
Hey, we were talking yesterday about Anastasia Palaszczuk.
Oh,
Turns
yes.
out it wasn't actually Anastasia Palaszczuk's fault. This crackpot idea that Brisbane should be renamed. It was actually the Greens who were pushing it.
Yeah, shall we hear the headline again and then we'll explain?
Yeah, let's do it.
The Palaszczuk government is working with First Nations people and the Greens to rename Brisbane to its Indigenous equivalent, Mianjin. This change will be ahead of the 2032 Olympics, according to reports. It follows the renaming of Fraser Island, which is now known as Ngari.
So that was the headline on Sky News Breakfast Show yesterday morning.
So she's come out yesterday and said, listen, I'm not working with the Greens to rename Brisbane. The Greens want me to rename Brisbane.
Right.
So she said, try as they might, I'm not interested in renaming Brisbane. However, the Greens, and just looking now, there's a story out of New Zealand about the push that's on to introduce bilingual New Zealand road signs. So they're in Maori and in English. But it got us thinking, if we were going to rename Adelaide, we're not saying that we should in any serious sense. It's a Meat Tray Friday question. Let's just have the conversation. What should we rename Adelaide? Don Dunstan wanted to call it, well, he didn't want to rename it, but he used to call Adelaide the Athens of the South.
Well, it's very poetic.
The Athens
Very
of the
Grecian, obviously.
Yeah.
Call us all morning, 8223 0000. For the Meat Tray this morning, what should we rename Adelaide? Meat Tray today, all thanks to our good friends, big supporters of the show, Corinthian Meats. Call in and see Dad Peter and his son Harry and all the team at 206 Henley Beach Road in Torrensville. That is Corinthian Meats. Thank you for their Meat Tray this morning.
Businesses like Corinthian Meats are one of the reasons that Don Dunstan wanted to call us the Athens of the South, because of the huge contribution that the Greeks had made. Fantastic place to get all your lamb if you're making souvlaki. They also make great cevapcicis as well. The cevapcici being got to be careful here. We'll say a Balkan invention. I almost said Croatian. I think we'd have some Serbian people ringing out going, nah.
We'll go with Balkan.
No. Yeah, that's right. Don't have some sausage-related flare-up. Getting the
Civil War on 5AA breakfast.
Right, exactly.
Call us, folks, 8223 0000. We'd love to hear from you all morning, or shoot us a text on the Duttons text line 0448 08 1395, or jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook live stream and leave your comments there. We'll get to some news headlines and Meat Tray Friday calls after the break.
At Coles, help keep the cost of living down with thousands of specials every week. Like half-price Arnott-shaped crackers, 130 to 190 gram, and half-price Nestle Milo cereals, 700 gram. This week at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday.
Harvey Norman open until late tonight. Shop for tax time essentials, and what you buy could be tax deductible. Great deals like laptops starting from below $388, monitors from $177, automatic coffee machine from $499. Samsung 65-inch OLED TV from $2,995. Harvey Norman has everything you need this tax time. And buy before June 30 to claim in this year's tax return. Harvey Norman open until late tonight. Trading hours may vary. Check your local store for details.
Now, this is a sensitive topic, but it's important. Have you or a loved one served in the Navy, Army or Air Force? The Royal Commission into Defence and Veteran Suicide wants to hear from you about your military experience. It could be about suicide or mental health. It could be about other aspects of military life, such as recruitment, training, leadership, culture, injury management, transition to civilian life, or family support. Sharing your story will help the Commission create a safer, stronger and better ADF. Submissions close October 13. Call 1800 329 095. That's 1800 329 095. Or visit defenceveteransuicide.royalcommission.gov.au. And if you are struggling, please call Lifeline 131114 for 24/7 crisis support.
Soak up the winter rain and huge savings at Vidoulis Garden Centre's massive end of financial year sale. Get 20% off everything in store. That's 20% off outdoor furniture, 20% off all plants, 20% off pots and potting mix, 20% off giftware and homewares. Yes, that's 20% off everything. On now till Sunday, Vidoulis Garden Centre's end of financial year sale, Main North Road, Gawler, opposite the racecourse. Some conditions apply.
FIVEAA Breakfast with David and Lucy.
The Cherry Motor 5. State-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
Will Goodings off on a well-deserved break, as is John Blake and Timmy G. But it'll be Lucy and Tom Wren next week, but final day with David on air before his holidays. First few texts coming in on the Duttons text line. Check out all of the end of FIVEAA offers at Duttons dealerships in Mount Barker and Murray Bridge. One here from Josh from Woodcroft about our Meat Tray Friday. Morning, guys. We should rename Adelaide Power Town. Well, for a bunch of Crow supporters, Josh, thanks.
I got a horrible feeling, Josh, that in September you might get your way. I just feel it. I've got a bad feeling about this year's grand final.
Text us 0448 08 1395. Let's get to some news headlines. More than 315,000 babies were born in Australia in 2021. It's the most babies ever born in 1 year. New data out from the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare shows that that figure is an increase of 20,000 births on the previous year.
So what's the common, and what was happening that year, the year before lockdown? So people
have a lot more free time on their hands.
Proving the old Methodist maxim that
they had to stay at home and do something.
We got to do something. We got to do something while we're locked in here.
The data also shows that the average age for first-time mothers is now inching closer to 30. No pressure for me, who's nearly there.
Oh, plenty of time. Though.
Plenty of time in my mind.
Yeah. Oh, so many women have their first child in their 30s these days.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Kylie Minogue has confirmed she will not be playing at the AFL Grand Final due to a scheduling clash. The AFL revealed they definitely asked the Pop Princess to perform, but they will now seek someone else for the big game in 3 months' time.
Now, why were the AFL out all guns blazing talking about it? Was it one of those if we build it, she will come type strategies where they thought if they gave the story to the Herald Sun, we'd really like Kylie Minogue to come, she might go, oh, all right then.
Yeah, and they led with, well, her new album's coming out at the end of September, so wow, that's perfect timing. Let's make that work. But I think she's actually performing overseas, or she's on a tour, or like it's a genuine, she can't come and do it for the day. Fair enough. The risks of artificial intelligence are being highlighted this World Social Media Day. As AI becomes more prevalent, experts are keeping an eye on how it's changing the ways we communicate and learn. Amid concerns, students are using it to cheat on exams. Acting eSafety Commissioner Toby Dagg says it is important to be sceptical when using AI.
These models are trained on information from the internet, and so some of what they say may not necessarily be true or reliable. And so finding other sources to verify is a really important part of using those technologies safely.
It's very true. Like the truth part, because there's so much stuff on the internet that's just patently incorrect. The truth part of using ChatGPT is hugely important. I remember a few months ago I did a column about, and I used as my starting point for it the excellent bit of radio where Richie Benno unloads on live TV after the underarm incident in 1981 when Trevor Chappell bowled the ball to the New Zealanders. I said, write a 800-word, or no, write a, because Benno's speech was 150 words. And I said, write a 150-word critical analysis of the implications of the underarm incident. The first thing that the computer spat out was and it was, on the face of it, it sounded quite good. It said, the 1981 underarm incident was regarded as a disgraceful moment in cricket, which reminds us all that it is important to play within the rules. And it's like, no. It doesn't remind us that it's important to play within the rules, because bowling an underarm at the time was within the rules. It wasn't an illegal delivery. Within the rules of cricket, which is why Greg Chappell, in a totally mad moment, decided to get his brother to bowl one, it wasn't illegal. So the whole premise of ChatGPT's opening sentence was crap.
Yeah, it was wrong.
Yeah, but it's because it scours the internet and it goes, oh yeah, that'll do, and you get this sort of blancmange of crap.
I'm genuinely terrified of AI. I'd just rather not think about it.
Yeah, I think, well, it's sort of intellectually scary in terms of like and I'd trace the decline of man can be traced back to the invention of Command L spell check. Like my parents' generation, and I'm sure our listeners will have memories of this. You'd have the stern school teacher standing in the front of the class with a little canvas-covered book of grammar, just driving it into your head. How to spell? You do a spelling test every day. And these days, spelling's like a little optional extra for people. It's not regarded as embarrassing if you can't spell anymore.
I used to love spelling tests because I was always not bad at it. I used to dominate it. That are my times tables. I'm sure our listeners had many a method learning times tables.
Not for me. I still can't do them. But that part of it is going to make us dumber. But where AI is really scary is in the military sort of space. Yes. Where it's oh, hang on, we can't stop the computer from doing something. Yeah, anyway, let's enjoy it while it lasts, Lisa.
Talking of big tech, Virgin Galactic has successfully marked its first commercial space flight. The Galactic 1 mission marks a long-awaited milestone for Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic with the launch of the first paying customers to the edge of space. The company's inaugural commercial flight was a research-focused mission with Italian Air Force-funded passengers who spent only 90 minutes in the sky. Following a successful launch today, the company intends to launch a second mission in August, plus monthly flights after that, with a seat to space on the Galactic 1 costing more than $680,000.
$680,000. I thought airfares were expensive at the moment. That is quite a lot of money, isn't it?
One seat for 90 minutes to the sky, though, to the edge of space.
So I reckon this sort of
$680,000 is nearly not bad.
Experimental travel has had a bad month, hasn't it?
Well, Richard Branson's got to do something with his time and money, so this is it.
Yeah. Are you boarding that flight, Lise? Are you going to jump on board that one?
If someone said, would you like to do this for free? Heck yeah.
You do it, really?
Totally. Yeah, I've got no fear.
No,
Let's go to space. Whatever.
Count me out.
And finally, the US Supreme Court has ruled universities cannot consider a prospective student's race when deciding administration. It is believed the decision will have an impact far beyond US schools and may force employers in America to change the way they hire. President Joe Biden strongly disagrees with the decision.
Discrimination still exists in America. Today's decision does not change that. It's a simple fact. If a student had to overcome adversity on their path to education, the college should recognize and value that.
That's a really, really interesting story that's going to have massive ramifications because it could potentially spell the death of affirmative action across the board, as you said at the start there, Luce. But the converse side of it is, I was reading some really interesting research by some Jewish groups in America about how the proportion of Jews in the university system in America has plummeted because so many of them now can't actually get in, even though they're academically brilliant, because there's X number of spaces set aside for, people of colour and what have you. And often their marks aren't as good. So it's had some interesting implications.
Yeah, with a population as large as America, will be interesting to see how that unfolds.
Yeah.
Weather for your Friday morning, top of 15 today, expecting up to 3 mils of rain. Tomorrow, 16, a shower or two if you are heading to the Crows. On Sunday, 15, partly cloudy. Monday, 14 and cloudy. Tuesday, 15, partly cloudy. Let's check on our morning sports update with Rennie. Get 10 years warranty and 10 years cap price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi. Morning to you, Tommy. You're heading to Adelaide Oval on Saturday?
Yes, I'll be there tomorrow. Yeah, calling the game with Campo and also Rowie. So looking forward to that. Big game for the Crows. They need to bounce back. Obviously, so disappointing last week.
Is it a slight danger game? Because the Roos have been playing reasonably good football the last few weeks.
They have been better.
But they've almost beaten Essendon, almost beaten Footscray.
Luke Davies-Uniacke back as well, and he's a very, very good player. But I think the Crows are just a bit too strong. Look, of course, they all are, but I think they should just win and win pretty comfortably. I'm quite confident that the Crows will get it done. I think Port, tougher assignment over at the MCG. No side coming off the bye has beaten a side that has played the week before. It's 0-8, so the numbers don't lie. It's tough for sides that have had the week off. They just struggled to front
get back
up.
Into it.
So, can they extend that 11-game winning streak tomorrow night? That'll be a really big test. I'm tipping both, but not with as much confidence for the Power. I think the Crows, though, should win and hopefully win well. You touched on a little bit earlier, the start of the show, I heard you talking about the Ashes, and we were so bullish this time yesterday about where the Aussies were at, but haven't things turned around? And basically off the back of this, with Nathan Lyon in the final session appearing to pull up really lame with a calf injury.
His right-hand side. It's up in the air. Has he fallen into the trap? No, it lands short. Keep an eye on whether Nathan Lyon has got cramp or if he's tweaked a calf. He's struggling here, whether it's cramp or he's tweaked a calf. This doesn't look good.
Obvious to pick up there, but he is in pain. He's in a lot of pain. The physio is now coming onto the pitch.
Yeah, this could be a big moment in the test match, in the series, with back-to-back tests. He's a major, major man in this attack. He's pivotal in this attack.
Audio there, thanks to Nine.
So that was his 100th test in a row. And so many times he's been the bloke who's come in and swept things up. Days 4 and 5. Do we need to scramble and get a new spinner brought in?
Well,
do you think?
We might have to, yeah. I mean, and a calf injury, they generally take weeks to recover, and you can't hide a player at test level. If he can't run, he can't field. So Trav Head bowled 5 overs.
He
bowled, and Steve Smith bowled 1 as well.
Yeah.
And bowled okay, but they're not going to have the same impact that Nathan Lyon has, clearly.
So it's incredibly delicately poised now, isn't it?
Well,
I mean, if we go in there today and get him out for like 60, we are well and truly in control.
Yep.
But
a lot now rests with the quick bowlers, and England batted quite well. I mean, the Australia did fight back late, but
I don't know. Like, they batted well, but have they put themselves in a worse position because of this Bazball nonsense? Because every single wicket they lost was going for the tonk.
Yeah, Ollie Pope's dismissal was mind-boggling. I mean, the shot selection was... But they said, that's what we... the only issue we have with it is he didn't hit it for 6. So there's this kind of stubborn mentality with it that, that's just the way we play. And they're going at 4.5 and over, but it can make you look really silly when it goes wrong.
Yeah.
So they're 138 runs behind, 6 wickets in hand. Very delicately poised, but I do fear for the Aussies now with no Nathan Lyon, potentially for at least this test match and maybe the series. It's going to be a significant blow.
So when we come on air on Monday, Tommy, how much cricket are we talking? 'Cause it'll be minimal from me.
Yeah.
We'll be over by then.
Yeah, we'll be washing it up then, Luce, and we can be fully into Wimbledon then.
That's better. That sounds like a much better plan on my behalf.
Sunday night is day 5.
Sunday night's day 5.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to 5 days.
Right.
So what that means, Lisa, is there's a very good chance that when you do the show with Tom on Monday, he will have had 1.5 hours sleep.
Yeah.
I love tired Rennie. Because you can't tell if he's had only 1 hour sleep or 10 hours.
See, I reckon tired Rennie is actually more hyped up than normal Rennie.
I know.
He's sort
Just
of
overcompensates.
the endorphins. You need to top yourself up.
He's a whiz of his master, which is broadcasting anything and everything, Rennie. So we'll look forward to that on Monday.
Cannot wait for it. Should be fun.
Thank you for your sports update. Coming up after the 6:30 news, we'll take some of your Metro Friday calls.
Tax time at Bunnings Trade ends today. Don't miss the Pasload Framemaster and Trimmaster kit with carry case, 2 batteries and charger for $1,498. Or the DeWalt PowerStack 5-amp 2-piece kit for just $299. Don't miss out. Shop online now at Bunnings Trade.
Every 2 years, if you're aged 50 to 74, you'll get a blue and white package from the National Bowel Cancer Screening Program. It's your free bowel screening test kit, and it could save your life. Here's what to do. Take it to the bathroom and put it right where you can see it. Not in a drawer, but on the bench top or on the toilet seat or in the middle of the floor. So the next time you have to go, you'll remember to use it. Please don't put off the chance to save your life. Get to it. Visit bowelcancer.org.au for more information.
Eagle Caravans and Campers. Tough, agile, off-road, off-grid. Right now, Eagle Winter Sale means you get free air conditioning and diesel heating. Easy to tow, a breeze to set up, with models to suit singles, couples and families, all with free air conditioning and free diesel heating. Stock ready for immediate delivery. Eagle Caravans Winter Sale with free air conditioning and free diesel heating across the range. Call now, because an Eagle can go anywhere.
T's and C's apply.
Is there a God? What is the meaning of life? Do I actually need unlimited data to watch a few cat videos on my commute? Cute.
Question everything, especially your telco plan. Get the data you need at low prices with Aldi Mobile.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 15 with the 6:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
A double murder investigation's underway after toxicology reports showed a Hackham couple were both poisoned 1 year apart. More from Abby Smith.
Major crime detectives say they believe an elderly married couple were both murdered by the same person. Brenda and Linton Anderson, both 94, died a year apart in 2022 and 23. Police now say abnormalities were found in their toxicology reports, with prescription medication found in their systems. Anyone who may have any information are being asked to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
The end of an era with Balfours no longer in SA hands. It's been sold to an interstate rival. Pico from WA will officially take the reins on August the 1st. CEO Bruce Federoff telling Seven they want to grow the brand nationally.
It's a business as usual plan at this point in time to grow the brand. Currently the market for Balfours is about 85% in South Australia, and we look to take it nationally.
No job losses are expected at this stage, but the new owners aren't ruling out redundancies down the track. Corruption findings against New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian could be the subject of legal action. The former leader says she always worked her hardest in the public interest, and the report's being examined by her legal team. Ms Berejiklian will not be charged, and there was no evidence she benefited financially. Her former partner Darryl Maguire could face charges though. A magnitude 4.6 earthquake has struck regional Victoria. Geoscience Australia says the tremor occurred in an area between Rawson and Mansfield at a depth of 3 kilometres around 1:30 this morning. The tremor was also felt across Melbourne. Andrea says the whole building shook.
The bed was shaking. My lamp fell onto the ground. I had things falling on the ground. It was huge. It was terrifying.
A woman has lost half her leg after becoming stuck in a moving walkway at Thailand's airport. The medical team who attended had to amputate the 57-year-old's leg above her knee to get her out. She's now been taken to hospital to try to have it reattached. Parents are being urged to get to know the online platforms being used by their children this World Social Media Day. The day serves as a reminder of the prevalence of social media and how we interact with it. Acting E-Safety Commissioner Toby Dagg says there are plenty of ways to keep kids safe online.
Most of the major social media platforms have ways to block and mute conversations. Some even go so far as allowing you to define keywords that will be picked up in instant messages and excluded.
A sweetener commonly used in Diet Coke is set to be declared as a potential cancer risk. The sweetener, known as aspartame, will be listed next month as possibly carcinogenic to humans for the first time by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Get 10-year warranty and 10 years capped price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Tom Moran.
Thank you, Kendall. A calf injury to Nathan Lyon has marred day 2 of the second Ashes test against England at Lords. The spinner limped from the field, and Australian vice-captain Steve Smith says it doesn't look good.
Obviously, if he's no good, it's a big loss for us. He's in his 100th consecutive test match, which I know he was really looking forward to taking part in and having a role in as well. So, yeah, fingers crossed he's okay, but didn't look good, obviously.
Earlier, Smith made his 32nd Test century before Australia was bowled out for 416. At stumps, England is 4 for 278 in reply. Let's go to football. Brisbane has recorded its biggest win of the season after thrashing Richmond by 81 points at the Gabba, improving their top 2 chances. Tigers interim coach Andrew McWalter says his side simply wasn't good enough.
I don't think there's anything that really went in our favour tonight. They were far too good for us. A really underwhelming performance of us. I think you just got to give a lot of credit to Brisbane's midfield. I thought they were exceptional tonight. In the clinches, they were tough. They hunted the ball well. They pressured well.
Meantime, Port Adelaide welcomes back Junior Rioli into its side ahead of tomorrow night's match against Essendon at the MCG. He comes in for mid-season recruit Quinton Narkle, who's still a chance to be the sub after being named as an emergency. And the Crows have dropped Lockie Scholl with Ned McHenry to start in tomorrow's home match against North Melbourne. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Now the FIVEAA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Showers and 15 today, a shower or 2 tomorrow, 16. Sunday, partly cloudy, 15, and cloudy for Monday, 14. At the moment, 10. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
FIVEAA Breakfast with David and Lucy.
Test drive the Cherry Emotive 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
6:36 for your Friday morning. Currently 10.6 in the city outside. Our lowest temperature was actually at 7:55 last night. 9.3 degrees in the CBD was the coldest temp overnight.
Freezing.
It didn't get much higher than that, I tell you. If you are somewhere freezing cold in the state right now, we'd love to hear from you. Give us a ring, 8223 0000. We are also taking calls on our Meat Tray Friday topic this morning, which is...
We're renaming Adelaide.
What would you rename Adelaide on account of Queensland being potentially... Brisbane being renamed Meanjin?
Meanjin.
So
big win for the Meanjin Lions last night, wasn't it?
That's right. Meat Tray, all thanks to the team at Corinthian Meats, a family-owned business. Pop in and see Peter, Harry and the guys at 206 Henley Beach Road, Torrensville. Let's get to a couple of those calls. Darren in Gawler, what would you rename Adelaide?
I'd rename it one word with no spaces. Did you bring your beer along?
Hey, that's good.
Yep.
A lot of people call their shack that. You see the odd shack called "Did you bring your grog along?" That's good. It sounds like an Indigenous word, doesn't it?
Darren,
it's a one nation word. Yep.
Darren, have you got a beer of choice?
Carlton Draft, thanks.
No
I don't mind the old Carlton Draft. I'm a simple man. I'm going through a bit of a West End draft stage as well.
Oh, SA.
I'm going back to the basics.
SA originator, that's fair enough. Let's go to Scott in Glenunga. Morning, Scott.
Good morning, Dave and Lou. Look, I'm a quintessential Aussie, and Aussies love to shorten words, hence Dave and Luce, for example.
Yeah, we quite like that. That'll be our new intro.
Yeah, well, there you go. And most of my friends and family refer to me as Scotty. Okay, that's not shortened, but you like add an IE or a Y on a word like Andy, Scotty, Freddie, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So I could go with the quintessential Radelaide, but, it's done to death.
Radelaide.
I could go with Adele, but someone's already using that name, and so let's be original. So my suggestion, and I love it, is Addie, ADDIE.
Addie.
Yeah, or maybe Adders.
Adders.
If you were friends with a girl called Adelaide, I reckon you'd end up calling her Addie or Adders.
Yeah, shortenings.
Adders.
We love a good shortening.
Yeah.
Scott's made a great point. You
Adster.
either add a Y or you change it to something similar but shorter.
Yeah, it's either shorter or longer.
Give us a ring, folks.
A few on the text line as well. Before we get to them, though, I really like this one from Stewie, master of the pun. We were talking earlier about the scourge of spell check and predictive text and so forth. Stewie writes, in poor spelling, apparently the inventor of spell check died last week. His fun fair is next sundial.
That joke will never get old. Never get old. Text here for the new name for Adelaide. Michael in Seaton says, new name for Adelaide, the place formerly known as Adelaide.
Inspired by Prince.
That's it. Mark from Highbury, I love it when Will's not here because even our audience jump in and saying it's a pea super this morning up at his way.
Well, we can say it because you can do it next week with Tom, and then, of course, though, Lise, the week after it's going to be you and Will.
I know, but I will be hosting, so I can still do it, and Will just has to sit there and absorb.
Hopefully Monday week it's like 6 degrees and you can't see your hand out there in IMO Square, and you can just start the show by tormenting him. I don't know why he gets so upset about it. It's funny, isn't it?
We all have our things. I
must admit, yeah, there's certain... I have a bit of I have this, as you well know, anything involving office meetings, it just immediately sets me off, and I have this feel like, why is it that someone puts a meeting request in your Outlook calendar? It's always down for an hour. It's like most things can be solved within 4 minutes, but if you're stuck in a meeting, if anyone says proactive, I just feel like walking out. Like that word proactive is like, I think it's the foulest word in the English language. And it's even crept into sport. You hear the odd coach saying, I've known that third quarter, I just feel like the guys just needed, and accountable's the other one. They need to get a bit more accountable and proactive. So what the hell does that even mean?
Office lingo.
Mm.
Some news out of the UK. One of my favourite royal stories to ever come out of this week, basically. We've had a few. Prince, how bad, I nearly said Prince Charles. It is King Charles III now, of course. Inflation has hit the royals.
Oh, no.
Inflation has hit the British royal family.
Cost of living crisis. Well, they've had to cut back on their corgis or something, have they?
Close. They have trying to cut down on their electricity bill. They are dropping their heating in the thermostats in Buckingham Palace to 19 degrees.
Seriously?
Yes.
Well, I suppose at the moment they'd be sweating it out.
The annual Sovereign Grant Report, which details every year the Royals' taxpayer-funded spending and income, outlined a lot of spending, like there was a certain amount allocated or that was spent on the Queen's funeral. It was in the order of £1.6 million, which is about $3 million Australian dollars. But they're talking about income, spending, also climate change. They acknowledge that, yes, whilst heating is not cost effective, it is also damaging the environment. King Charles and Prince William have always had the eco-minded warrior sense. They are dropping the thermostat in Buckingham Palace to 19 degrees. Here is royal expert Jenny Bond talking about it.
I think that the palace and King Charles will be disappointed that this year the costs have gone up. By making gestures such as turning down the heating in his palaces and castles, he's trying to show that he is in touch, he understands, he's listening to the fact that so many people are suffering with the cost of living crisis.
That is just the most fatuous analysis ever, isn't it? Like, think about all these royal experts. You can tell so many of them are just, hangers-on who you'd find on page 44 of Hello magazine. I'm here with the Grand Duchess of Cornwall, hunting for grouse. It's a tradition that dates back to 1643, and we've been coming here as a family. They're just part of this. How alien is that type of, lifestyle from what our excellent country has become?
The optimal temperature in Australia, they tell you to put your AC on or your heating, is 22 degrees, I think, which for me is a bit too low.
But for that woman, whoever she was, to be saying this show is like an act of solidarity with the average person. Like, how many rooms have they got to heat at Buckingham Palace compared to some poor, bloke with a hanky hat on living in some unair-conditioned
775 rooms.
775 rooms. Well, that's quite a lot of rooms, isn't it?
52
Maybe they need a smaller house.
There are 52 royal and guest bedrooms, 188 staff bedrooms, 92 offices, 78 bathrooms and 19 staterooms.
Yeah.
Temperature in London, it is 10 p.m. over there at the moment, and it is summer, as you highlighted. Currently 19 degrees in the UK, although today their maximum was only 23. Friday, their maximum is 19. Saturday, 24. Sunday, 22. Monday, 22. Tuesday, 22. So their summer is... You could also argue the best way to avoid big power bills is to not bother turning your air conditioner on, because it's not going to get above 24. It is one of the same. Meat Tray, this morning we're asking, what should you rename Adelaide? Andrew in Prospect's given us a ring. Morning, Andrew.
Oh, yeah, good morning. That house that you just mentioned sounds like a good place for Dave and his tribe.
Plenty of room.
Yeah, I think I'd call Adelaide Midway.
Midway?
What's that for?
Yeah, well, it's halfway between Western Australia and the rest of the world over the eastern states.
Don't mind that.
Okay, I like that.
Geographically apt.
But didn't Jay Weatherer, when he was Premier, wasn't there some brief discussion about renaming South Australia Central Australia?
Well, I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah. No,
we are proudly SA.
Yeah. Unless we did merge with the NT, which has been canvassed a few times.
They're proudly the NT. They're in the north, we're in the south. Happy days.
Well, we used to run it. Like it was under South Australia's control for a long time.
Yeah, and a lot of companies, I know you might manage the SA and NT offices.
Yeah, like the guide dogs.
Yes.
They're SANT. I think the AHA. Yeah. A lot of unions are.
Give us a ring all morning, folks. 8223 0000 with your Meat Tray Friday suggestions. What would you rename Adelaide? Brisbane may or may not be renamed Meanjin, the Indigenous name, but we're coming up with creative ways that you might want to rename Adelaide this morning. We'll take your calls right through till 9 o'clock, and someone will walk away with a wonderful meat tray from Corinthian Meats. But for the first time this morning, let's check traffic. Car battery slow to start. Search RAA battery. Battery replacement only available to RAA road service holders. T's and C's apply.
In Hindmarsh, look out for debris on Port Road near Coghlan Street in the right lane affecting outbound. In Erbray, there's a burst water main on Glen Osmond Road at the bottom of the freeway. Works today at Virginia on Penfield Road near Old Port Wakefield Road. Speeds are down to 40. Same too at Hillbank on Blacktop Road near Williams Road. Bunnings is your home for cleaning, and they're serious about providing the leading brands at amazing value. Head in store or online for great deals on cleaning at Bunnings today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on FIVEAA.
Harvey Norman open until late tonight. Shop for tax time essentials, and what you buy could be tax deductible. Great deals like laptops starting from a low $388, monitors from $177, automatic coffee machine from $499, Samsung 65-inch OLED TV from $2,995. Harvey Norman has everything you need this tax time, and buy before June 30 to claim in this year's tax return. Harvey Norman open until late tonight. Trading hours may vary. Check your local store for details.
The all-new Nissan Qashqai has been awarded the 2023 Drive Car of the Year Best Small SUV. And with Nissan Future Value Business Plus, a new fleet finance solution for small to medium businesses, you can drive the award-winning Nissan Qashqai ST for competitive weekly repayments that include the cost of scheduled servicing for the loan term. Visit nissan.com.au/business plus or contact your local Nissan dealer. Approved ABN registered small to medium fleet applicants of Nissan Financial Services. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
Now, I'm a fair way off whacking L plates on my car and anxiously sitting in the passenger seat, which is, of course, a parental rite of passage when I eventually get there.
That's right, Liz.
And I'm happy to delay it a little bit longer. But
you need to get a child first.
That's right. I've got a little niece. She's only 6 months old. So
get her out there in the car.
You know, we've still got 15 years and 6 months to go. But for new drivers and their parents, they shouldn't be without RAA road service.
No, I've been doing this with my son Jim. Had no white-knuckle moments yet. But look, the RAA, they're terrific because they can be there when you can't. And it's comforting to know that a quick call to RAA can get your kids back on the road sooner after a breakdown. Plus, RAA road service applies to the individual no matter what car they're driving.
And standard road service at the RAA for 1 year only costs around the same as 2 coffees a month. So for peace of mind on the road, plus member benefits and savings, search RAA road service. T's and C's applies. And for all the info, go to raa.com.au.
Treat yourself to a winter getaway and unlock something extraordinary, a complimentary minibar. Book direct with participating SA Weekend Escapes hotels this winter and enjoy a free minibar upon arrival. Discover some of South Australia's hidden gems, from Berry to Victor Harbour to Kangaroo Island and more. Immerse yourself in picturesque landscapes, indulge in gourmet delights and embrace unique experiences. Visit saweekendescapes.com.au to unlock your free minibar and embrace the magic of South Australia.
FIVEAA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to FIVEAA on Facebook or YouTube.
FIVEAA Breakfast with David and Lucy.
The Cherry Motor 5, state-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
6:48 coming up before 7 o'clock. We're chatting with the SES. There's a team of 6 gearing up for the Australasian Rescue Challenge for the first time since 2007.
This sounds insane, this thing.
I know. Looking forward to chatting with Tony Costello in a couple of moments' time. But first, we'll get all the important news of the morning. First up, it is Simon Timke from the Weather Bureau. Morning, Simon.
Good morning, Lucy. Morning, David.
Now, Simon, we'll do today in a minute, but for those heading to Adelaide Oval tomorrow lunchtime, what can we expect?
Yeah, look, still a chance of 1 or 2 showers around for Saturday, I think, in the afternoon. We'll probably see them ease a bit in the evening, but during the afternoon, I think if you're off to the footy, you want to be prepared for the odd shower during the game, so worth taking some wet weather gear with you. And it will be a coolish sort of day, 16 degrees the maximum for Saturday with southwesterly winds. For today, plenty of showers around. The showers probably a little bit more frequent today than on Saturday. And looking at the radar at the moment, quite a few showers about the hills and further showers are approaching the Adelaide area from the southwest. And those showers, particularly about the hills, producing a bit of reduced visibility and low clouds. So worth taking a little bit of extra care on the roads for the drive in to work this morning. Temperature-wise today, 15 degrees expected for the maximum. Currently in the city sitting on 10.7 degrees. Around the suburbs, 15 degrees as well for Noarlunga and Glenelg, 14 for Elizabeth and 13 degrees for Mount Barker. We've mentioned Saturday's weather. For Sunday, it looks like the showers will have cleared away, so mostly dry day, a bit of cloud around still and light winds, 15 degrees. 14 for Monday, another cloudy day with just a slight chance of a shower. Tuesday should be mostly dry as well, I think 15 degrees. And then the next change will move through midweek. So Wednesday we'll see some showers develop, 16 degrees that day, and the showers continuing through Thursday and Friday on and off as well. I think 15 degrees the maximum for Thursday, guys.
Thank you, Simon. You could call us the state of consistency.
You certainly could.
At the moment, with
consistently miserable.
With all those 15s in there, let's jump across to SA Police Senior Constable Kimberly Broads on the phone this morning. Morning, Kimberly.
Morning, Lucy. Morning, Dave.
So 2 people heading to court over a break-in.
Yeah, so they'll face court today. It was 3:45 yesterday afternoon. Police were called to Ferry Avenue at Plimpton Park after reports that 2 men, and one was armed with a sword, apparently broke in and threatened occupants of the home. The suspects demanded cash and some property, but they left empty-handed, and thankfully no one was injured during the incident. But patrols quickly set up cordons in the area and actually located the suspects in a nearby home. The incident is not believed to be random, but we've got a 29-year-old man from Port Lincoln and a 33-year-old man from Plimpton Park. They've both been charged with aggravated serious criminal trespass and theft using force, so they'll be appearing in the Adelaide Magistrates Court today.
And Kimberly, this next story, which is all over the front page of the Advertiser about the elderly, very elderly 94-year-old Hackham couple, quite mysterious, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And yesterday we did hold a press conference where police declared the deaths of Brenda and Linton Anderson. They're both aged 94, a major crime investigation. Brenda had died on the 16th of March last year, and her husband Linton died on the 1st of May this year. So the deaths were actually identified during the coronial investigation process after toxicology results gave significant rise for concern surrounding their deaths. And during the presser yesterday, we had Detective Inspector Mark McKecken from Major Crime. He explained that the similarities and abnormalities in the toxicology reports for both Mr. and Mrs. Anderson had provided suspicion both were actually murdered by the same person. So police have no concerns about the level of care in hospital and have eliminated external carers. So what detectives are actually asking, they're wanting anyone who may have contact with Mr. and Mrs. Anderson and may have knowledge of the deaths and the circumstances that led to them, but in particular, anyone with knowledge of their prescribed or non-prescribed medications each were using, and if they could call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
So they both died at the hospital, at Flinders Medical Centre, and as you said, can't stress this enough, Kimberly, none of the staff there are under suspicion at all. It's clearly someone from outside who came in to see them, you would think.
Yeah, that's right, and they've said that, in particular with regards to Mrs. Anderson, they believe that she was killed by a person known to her and was close enough in relationship to have been visiting her while she was in hospital. So they have identified a suspect. They're keeping their cards close to the chest, but yeah, just seeking that extra information to help that investigation.
Wow, terribly sad. Thanks for that, Kimberly. Senior Constable Kimberly Broad from SAPOR. Have a great weekend.
Heading now to chat with another one of our wonderful emergency services worker. This time it is the SES. Tony Costello is the State Duty Officer who joins us this morning. Now, Tony, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you. I understand you are one of the 6 who are taking part in the Australasian Road Rescue Challenge this weekend.
No, I'm not one of the 6 competing. We've got a 6-person team from Mount Gambier down the southeast. I'm just one of the organisers at this point in time.
Oh, well, my apologies. But you get to lead the team, then that's equally as exciting over the 3-day challenge. First time the team's competed in 16 years.
Yes, we haven't had an SES team involved in 16 years. 17 years ago, one of our teams from Laura up in the mid-north won one of the world competitions in road crash rescue. But since then, we haven't been involved in it, no.
So, Tony, walk us through how this happens. I'm looking at the piece that the Tiser ran where they've got a photograph of the SES Mount Gambier unit who are training for it. It looks like you're basically trying to exactly replicate a scenario whereby a person is trapped in a car. Is that pretty much it? Like, is there a mannequin in there that you have to get out and do it racing against the clock with other teams?
It's largely very similar to that. We sometimes have a mannequin inside, depending on the staging of the accident and how it's set up. Some of the time we have live casualties inside, and what they will be doing at Wayville Pavilion at the showground from this morning will be exercises in how you extract those people in the most effective and the most appropriate manner within a time frame. So most of the exercises, they have 30 minutes to actually achieve what they have to achieve. And they're scored by a variety of judges on how they do that, the processes they follow, how the command and control is organised, how the patients are treated and how they're looked after while this is done, and the techniques involved in the extraction of all persons.
Tony, how many teams are competing this weekend? I know there are Australian teams and a few international groups. Do you know how many you're up against?
We've got 23 teams competing altogether. There's one from Hong Kong, one from UK, one from New Zealand, and teams from all around Australia.
Wow. How long has it been going on for? I've never heard of this. Is it something the public can go and watch, or is it sort of held privately as a sort of skill-boosting exercise for the SES and equivalents elsewhere?
It has been around for many years, obviously 15, 16 years ago when our last team competed, but prior to 2000 I think it was in existence. And yes, members of the public can go and see. There's no entrance fee. So
that's cool.
From 8 o'clock in the morning today and tomorrow, they're more than welcome.
With the Ashes on too, hopefully we beat the Poms. They're rubbish at getting people out of cars.
Well,
is there sledging?
No, just slightly that. One of the advantages of this is what we're doing is exchanging information between all these teams. There is obviously competition, but there's also the opportunity to work with people from different organisations and different environments who have learnings that we can apply, and they can pick up learnings from us that they can apply on the road.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
It's invaluable in terms of that, in terms of the development of skills and making it easier, or teaching all these different organisations different techniques from different areas.
That's a fascinating thing.
Good luck to the team, Tony.
Yeah,
we wish SA
Australia
very well. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
So from 8 o'clock today and tomorrow, you can head to Wayville Showgrounds and watch the SA-SES team of 6 compete against 22 others in the the road rescue competition.
I reckon we'd have the edge. You know, Australia being such a vast country, people driving such long distances. And,
yeah, but the importance of this is serious. Our
for
horror
sure.
start to the year, the road toll currently at 59 compared to 38 this time last year.
Absolutely.
Not only, I mean, you made the point about sledging and the collegiality, but it's good that we're back after 16 years competing and working with these other teams.
Cannes SA.
Cannes SA indeed. Coming up, we'll have your 7 o'clock wrap of the news stories. And Feedback Friday from 7:30. If you'd like to take part this morning, give us a ring, 8223 0000.
We're with Toop and Toop's Bronte Manual. Given current market conditions, what's the best method for selling property in Adelaide? Is it auction?
There are a number of options out there when it comes to method of sale, but having said that, we've achieved some outstanding results under auction conditions recently, especially with the very low stock levels in Adelaide.
A little birdie tells me you and a couple of other Toop team members have won some auctioneering competitions recently.
Winning trophies isn't a priority for us, but it is satisfying to know we have such a powerful team of auctioneers at Toop and Toop.
Does it really matter though?
A good auctioneer is a highly skilled negotiator who can read body language, knows how to maximise bidding and ultimately gets the deal done. A good auctioneer can be the difference between a mediocre result and an amazing one.
To find out more about Toop and Toop auction success, go to toop.com.au.
Hurry! Just 6 days remain in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. This could be your ticket to leaving interest rates behind and living mortgage-free in absolute luxury. With over 13,000 prizes, you have a 1 in 15 chance of winning. So join the fight and don't miss your chance to change your life and thousands of South Australians. Get your tickets and see full lottery details at homelottery.com.au today.
Licence M14364.
Rediscover the joy of driving with Honda's latest mid-sized SUV, the stunning Honda ZR-V. Available now from Formula Honda, Modbury or Glen Osmond. Striking and sporty on the outside, sophisticated and refined on the inside. The Honda ZR-V is comfortably spacious and practical, and packed with intuitive tech, making every drive a dream. The all-new Honda ZR-V at Formula Honda. Test drive today from our 2 locations, Modbury or Glen Osmond.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 15 with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Physio Extra now offers holistic lipedema and lymphedema services. Go to physioextra.com for more.
SA police believe an elderly Hackham couple was murdered by the same person a year apart, but they won't speculate on the motive. Brenda Anderson died in 2022 and her husband Linton in April this year. Both were 94. Detective Inspector Mark McEachen says each had an abnormal and suspicious amount of prescription medication in their system.
The medication that was in there should not have been there. There was no reason for the medication to have been in their system, and that's raised concerns in respect of both deaths.
Police won't elaborate on the suspect except to say they're close to the couple. It's the end of an era in SA with Balfours no longer in local hands. Mel Usher has details.
Balfours has been sold to an interstate company. Staff at the Dudley Park factory were told yesterday about the change in ownership. Oz Pie Company in WA will officially take the reins on August 1. The product lines will stay the same, so the iconic frog cake will still be produced. No job losses are expected at this stage, but redundancies aren't being ruled out down the track.
Cost of living relief is on the way for millions of Australians from tomorrow. The minimum wage will rise as paid parental leave will increase to 20 weeks. Workers will receive an extra $330 per year on average as superannuation contributions also rise. Gladys Berejiklian's lawyers will spend the coming days reviewing a corruption report as they consider taking legal action. More from Clinton Maynard.
Those subjected to ICAC corruption findings do have legal avenues to challenge the outcome. Gladys Berejiklian's reputation has been damaged by the Commission's finding that she engaged in serious corruption. Therefore, her legal team is examining the report and could take action. Ms Berejiklian says she always worked hard for the people of New South Wales and nothing in the report demonstrates otherwise. Former colleagues have also questioned how the serious corruption finding can be made when she didn't benefit financially and there was no criminality.
A magnitude 4.6 earthquake has struck east of Melbourne. Geoscience Australia says the tremor occurred at Rawson at a depth of 3 kilometres around 1:30 this morning. The tremor was also felt across Melbourne. Virgin Galactic has successfully completed its first commercial spaceflight. The Galactic 1 mission marks a long-awaited milestone for Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic with the launch of the first paying customers to the edge of space. The company now intends to launch a second mission in August, followed by monthly flights. And another chance today for Taylor Swift fans to get a ticket to her Melbourne and Sydney concerts. After VIP sales and pre-sales, now the general public get their turn. Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Get 10-year warranty and 10 years capped price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. The second Ashes test at Lords is delicately poised after day 2. Steve Smith posted his 32nd test century. He's now equal second on the Australian list with Steve Waugh.
Yes, come on! Drives it beautifully through the offside. 32nd test match onward for Steve Smith. His second at Lords. We are witnessing greatness in front of our eyes. One of the all-time greats.
Yeah, fabulous effort. That audio thanks to 9. Australia dismissed for 416 before England worked to 4 for 278 at stumps. The big story, Nathan Lyon and a calf injury late in the day. To football, and Brisbane has kicked off round 16 with an 81-point demolition of Richmond at the Gabba. Meantime, Port Adelaide defender Miles Bergman has told Rowie and Timmy G he's delighted to have signed on for another 2 years.
Was it ever in doubt?
No, not really. I just wanted to focus on footy for the start of the year, and it's nice to have your family and friends around, so there's always going to be that little thought for everyone, I guess, but I love the club and really enjoying my time, so just looking forward to seeing what we can do.
Yeah, great news. Former Australian Open tennis champion Caroline Wozniacki is coming out of retirement. The 32-year-old returns to the tour 3 years after first calling it quits. And some breaking news, James Harden could be on his way out of Philadelphia, with reports he's seeking a trade with the New York Knicks and LA Clippers among the early favourites to get him. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Now checking FIVEAA traffic.
Look out for a crash at Paralawi on Waterloo Corner Road at Whites Road, another at Corolta Park on South Road at Anzac Highway affecting Citybound. In Hindmarsh, there's debris on Port Road near Coghlan Street in the right lane affecting outbound, and speed cameras out today, Heaslip Road, Angle Vale. Discover amazing outlet savings during the mid-year sales at Harbour Town. Shop big brands like Calvin Klein at a further 30% off already reduced. Visit harbourtown.com.au for more. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on FIVEAA.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Showers and 15 today, a shower or two tomorrow, 16, partly cloudy Sunday, 15, and on Monday, cloudy and 14. Right now it's 11. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
Tax time ends today at Bunnings Trade. Don't miss our final day of deals, like the AEG 18-volt Fusion 10-piece mega kit for just $1,999. That's over $3,500 worth of tools for just $1,999. Plus, get your choice of AEG nailer skin, Fusion lawnmower skin, or 4 5-amp force batteries via redemption. Don't miss out. Shop online now at Bunnings Trade. Helping business is our trade.
FIVEAA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to FIVEAA on Facebook or YouTube.
FIVEAA Breakfast with David and Lucy.
Test drive the Cherry.
Should be in every morning, some of our beds.
How many of our
Great.
listeners have got the original vinyl copy with the black sleeve with the portrait shot of them all wearing white clothes, staring straight at the camera, the best of ABBA? It's all you need. It's one of the... We were talking the other day about the original Best of Elton John. I reckon that Best of ABBA would probably be, along with Queen's Greatest Hits, in the top 5 most owned records in Australia.
2 of my friends in year 6 made a film clip of them doing that, like staring at each other one-on-one.
Yeah.
Sent it to Australia's Funniest Home Videos.
Did it get on?
Got played.
You're joking.
Very funny. Year 6, Riverton Primary.
Because you'd have no memories, obviously, Luce, given that you were decades away from even existing. But I can remember my cousin Kathy, we were so excited when the Adelaide News, it would have been about 1977, ahead of the ABBA tour, when ABBA, from memory, played at Apollo Stadium. The News put this, it's like the lamest thing in the world in hindsight. They had an iron-on ABBA transfer that they gave away with the newspaper. And it was this little crappy-looking thing. It was like a white sheet of cloth or plastic or something. And it had pictures of Benny and Frida and Agnetha and Bjorn on it. And you got your mum to, set up the ironing board. Sorry, it probably sounds a bit sexist, but I reckon it would have been all the mums who were doing it. You got a plain T-shirt and you put it on the ironing board and then you ironed it. Mm-hmm. And then you had your little melted
So they gave that out in the newspaper.
It was given away. I reckon there might even be someone who's still got that T-shirt that they make themselves at home.
For sure. Let us know if you were one of those with the iron-on ABBA transfer. 8223 0000. There's an idea for the advertiser. They could bring it back for
I reckon that
any
edition
concert
of the
that
Adelaide,
we may get here.
I reckon that edition of the Adelaide News would have sold 200,000 copies as well. People would have gone mental for it.
Coming up a bit later this morning, 2 in-studio guests, very excited about this. After 8 o'clock, first up is Orazio Fantasia from Port Adelaide at 8:20, then after 8:30, former opposition leader, current Minister for the National Disability Insurance Scheme, Bill Shorten, will be in studio. And we are taking your Meat Tray Friday calls, of course. What would you rename Adelaide? A text here from Nick on the Duttons text line. I'd go for a German twist. Bung Fritzelaide.
Bung Fritzelaide. That's
Rolls
good.
off quite good from the tongue, actually.
There's one here that I like as well from Mick. Guys, we need a bit of glitz and glamour with a new name for Adelaide, so I'd merge Premier Pete's name with Hollywood to become Mallywood.
Mallywood.
What about that?
That is the Duttons text line. Check out all the end of fin year offers at Duttons dealerships in Mount Barker and Murray Bridge. Let's get to some news of the morning. We just did speak with SAPOL. Senior Constable Kimberly Broad highlighted the double murder investigation that has been launched into the deaths of the elderly married couple from the southern suburbs. 2 94-year-olds, Brenda and Linton Anderson from Hackham, both died in the Flinders Medical Centre. Bizarrely, pretty well a year apart. Detectives now believe they were murdered. Here is Detective Inspector Mark McKecken.
Similarities and abnormalities in the toxicology results for both Mr. and Mrs. Anderson has provided the suspicion that both were deliberately murdered by the same person who was known and close to both of them. An extensive amount of investigation has occurred in relation to both deaths. We have identified a suspect, but won't elaborate further on that topic.
As Kimberly Broad said about 20 minutes ago, the police are remaining very tight-lipped on that suspect, and no doubt more will come out as soon as it possibly can.
The Advertiser's report says that a death notice in the Advertiser said Mr. Anderson was a father or father-in-law of 8 children, a grandfather of 7, and a great-grandpa of 9, you imagine that within that family, this must be causing so much distress. Terribly sad.
It is the 30th of June, which means it is the end of financial year. July is upon us this weekend, of course, but a few stats just to get your head around that will kick in from July the 1st. So the minimum wage is going up 5.75%, which means the minimum wage goes up to $23.23 per hour. Paid parental leave is being increased from 18 weeks to 20 weeks for all children born after July the 1st. So I'm sorry, if you happily are giving birth today, you are still on the 18 weeks paid parental leave.
You timed it poorly.
Part pensions are also increasing by a maximum of $65 for singles and $100 for couples. And for aged care workers, there will also be a 15% pay rise, which is great news. The childcare subsidy that Labor's been very strong on since they came into power does start on July the 10th. Of course, energy prices has been the big conversation since the new Labor government started, really. Energy prices are expected to rise from tomorrow. This is different from state to state, but in Queensland, it's expected to go somewhere near 29% rise in energy prices.
Staggering, isn't it?
For the Sunshine State, which is huge. There are rebates, of course, for eligible families of up to $500. Just a few little local things that are happening around Adelaide. Most government fees are set to increase by around 5%. And if you use the Adelaide Metro system bus fares, a single fare is going to be increased by 20 cents from tomorrow. So from $4.05, it'll go up to $4.25 for a single bus fare. And a 28-day pass is going to increase by $5.10. So if you buy a Metro card that has 28 days on it, instead of $107, you'll be paying $112.10.
Geez, I know the government said that in the state budget that they were capping these increases at less than inflation, but with inflation being what it is and everything else having already gone up so much, any little increase. I mean, like yesterday, one little indicative thing. I was at that fantastic Mexican store, Chili Mojo on McGill Road. I go there about once every couple of months to buy all the stuff I need for my Mexican cooking at home, and they get white flour tortillas. Most of the Mexican recipes you use corn tortillas, but if you have like a cheese fondue or something, you get the flour ones. But the price of these white flour tortillas, which are pretty much like the sort of things you can get at the supermarket as well, the excellent bloke who owns the shop, Joel, he said they've gone up so much, I don't even think I'm going to bother stocking them anymore. So just the cost of something as basic as flour, not corn. For some weird reason, corn has not changed, but white flour has changed so much that the cost of these tortillas, like 20 in a pack or something, they've gone up by like $3. And he said, I just feel bad selling them to people. Yeah. Crazy. If you are out on the roads and you own a car, your prices of having a car are also set to increase. A registration of a small vehicle will increase by $7. A registration of a high-powered car, increase of $20. Speeding fines are also going to increase. So if you exceed 10 kilometres in a zone, that's going to increase by $9. After that, on average, an extra $10 is added for every 10 kilometre of the speed limit exceeded. See, this is where I reckon the government's like silly. Like, sure, increase them across the board, but they should increase the high in the middle of the road toll dramas that we're having. I reckon if anyone's doing more than 50 k's above the speed limit, why not just increase that penalty by 10 grand or something? Make it a life-altering punishment for people who do that, because there's never, ever, ever any excuse for doing 160 in a 60 zone or in an 80 zone. Like, anyone who's a genuine hoon should feel the pain of their behaviour for a good year or so after they've done it. And the government, at a time when they're desperate for cash, be a nice little earner for them too.
What about me?
Balfours, for all the right reasons. Traditional freshness, quality and taste. Baked fresh daily.
What about me?
Balfours, South Australian company, is in fact somewhere around 170 years old. That ad is from a little while ago, back in the 90s, I think. Balfours...
Maybe even the 80s, actually.
Yeah, possibly. But pre-me. I know it was
Moving
pre-me.
pictures.
We'll put it that way. So Balfours started way back in Adelaide, obviously 170 odd years ago. It was acquired by the San Remo company in 2008, also Adelaide-based. As of 2018, Balfours do have a second factory in Sydney. But the frog cake is about to become Western Australian. On August the 1st, South Australian baker Balfours has been sold to Western Australian manufacturer Oz Pie Co.
Now, they make Mrs. Mac pies, don't they?
Mrs. Mac pies. So Balfours, of course, pies, pasties, sausage rolls, sweets, donuts, and the frog cake.
So the Western Australians are insisting that there will be no change to the frog cake. They'll still be making them. And the Tiser spoke to some of the people who work at the factory here saying, well, we've been told it's going to be business as usual. Yeah, and same with jobs. Oz Pie Co is saying, yes, we get there is uncertainty around your job if you do work at Balfours in SA, but there are no plans to get rid of people. Here is Bruce Fyodorov, the CEO of the Oz Pie Company. He spoke yesterday to the decision.
It's a business as usual plan at this point in time to grow the brand. Currently the market for Balfours is about 85% in South Australia, and we look to take it nationally. So they want
taking it national.
Not only want to make it Western Australian, they want to make it national.
So the frog cake's on the march. It's a bit like the cane toads in Queensland heading down towards New South Wales. They're spreading. We're going to do the same thing with the frog cake.
Frog cakes are...
You'll be able to buy them in cans soon. That'd be nice for all our lapsed South Australian residents who have all moved up there for the warmth. They'll be able to, walk around in their thongs and their boardies and their Hawaiian shirts eating frog cakes. Be like a home away from home for them.
I think the frog cake is 101 years old.
I've got to say, I've eaten a couple that taste like they're 101 years old.
So happy 101st birthday. You are headed to Western Australia. Here we go. Balfours itself is almost as old as South Australia. I've just found the origins of Balfours trace back to 1853, which is only 17 years after the colony's foundation. Incredible. And now we're about to become Western Australia.
Good stuff.
If you got thoughts on Balfours, 8223 0000, let's take... Oh, excellent. And ABBA, we mentioned at the start, our intro bed was, of course, the fabulous Mamma Mia. Rob in Seaton went to ABBA in 1977. Morning, Rob.
Morning, guys. Yes, I did. Yes, it was Football Park.
I was Footy Park.
Yes, and one day we were known as Adelaide.
Adelaide. I like it.
Hey, Rob, can you remember that iron-on transfer that I was rabbiting on about?
Vaguely, very vaguely. Like I said last week, unfortunately, as an adult, I've killed way too many brain cells.
Oh, haven't we all, mate?
Yeah.
Excellent, Rob. Thank you for your memories of ABBA. Oh, I just love ABBA.
Another suggestion here for the renaming of our fair city. Bill from Bradbury says Adelaide should be renamed Addywood after watching the excellent Netflix film Run Rabbit Run starring Sarah Snook, a South Australian Film Corp production. We bat way above our weight. In stars, musicians, movies, entertainers, we are the state of achievers. And one here saying, can we just rename Adelaide Melbourne? That way I wouldn't have to pay for plane tickets and accommodation to see Taylor Swift. Well, at least you got a ticket.
There's our one mention of Tay-Tay this morning. I'll only allow one more in the last hour of the show.
Well, it's about to happen again today, isn't it? 9:30.
Yep, we'll mention that afterwards.
All right.
Peter in Fulham Gardens has called in with a traffic update. Morning, Peter.
Morning. Heading into town on the... Northern Expressway, just by as you turn off onto South Road, there's been an accident. There's fire and police there, and traffic's banked up.
No worries, Peter. Have you been caught up in those delays, or you managed to get around it?
No, I'm going the opposite way.
So traffic's all fine the other direction. It's just if you're stuck that way, you'll be stuck for a while.
Yeah, just heading into the as well banked up.
No worries. Thank you so much, Peter. If you are out in the sort of inner western suburbs, let us know how you're getting on this morning. Let's check traffic in a more broad sense. Car battery slow to start. Search RAA battery. Battery replacement only available to RAA road service holders. T's and C's apply.
A few crashes about this morning, including Wingfield on the Salisbury Highway at the Port River Expressway for city bound, another at Paralawi on Waterloo Corner Road at Whites Road, and another at Karolta Park on Anzac Highway at South Road for city bound. In Homemarsh, there's debris on Port Road near Coghlan Street in the right lane affecting outbound. Check your speed today, Ashwin Parade, Torrensville. Goodyear Auto Care, your tyre and auto experts, have 25% off the Goodyear Efficient Grip SUV tyre range. Ends today. Call now on 132343. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on FIVEAA.
FIVEAA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
Hello, Tony.
Every 6 or 8 weeks or so, I've put out an extra green bin.
Yeah.
I've received this letter from the Adelaide Council. Here are the fees for the extra bin.
See, this is why we all hate councils, and they do nothing to help themselves in that regard.
Get rid of them. Get rid of them.
Exactly.
Weekday mornings from 9.
This is why councils get such a bad name, through BS like this. Pick up the bin, so what?
On 1395, Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Soak up the winter rain and huge savings at Vidoulis Garden Centre's massive end of financial year sale. Get 20% off everything in store. That's 20% off outdoor furniture, 20% off all plants, 20% off pots and potting mix, 20% off giftware and homewares. Yes, that's 20% off everything. On now till Sunday, Vidoulis Garden Centre's end of financial year sale, Main North Road, Gawler, opposite the racecourse. Some conditions apply.
Instead of throwing an end of financial year sale event, we're celebrating all year long because Aldi has Australia's lowest prices.
Can I stop dancing now?
Nope, this is fun. We're having fun. Please? Aldi, good, different.
Now, this is a sensitive topic, but it's an important one. Have you or a loved one served in the Navy, Army or Air Force? The Royal Commission into Defence and Veteran Suicide wants to hear from you about your military experience. It could be about suicide or mental health or other aspects of military life, such as recruitment, training, deployment, leadership, injury management, transition to civilian life or family support. By sharing your story, you'll be helping the Commission create a safer, stronger and better ADF. Submissions close October 13. Call 1800 329 095, that's 1800 329 095, or the website defenceveteransuicide.royalcommission.gov.au. And if you're struggling, please call Lifeline 131114 for 24/7 crisis support.
If you thought it was tricky to source a great end of financial year deal on a new Volkswagen, think again. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen has loaded up on new stock. That's a massive range of new and demo Volkswagens available for delivery right now. Loads of colours, loads of options, plus on-site finance options available. Get in now and secure your new Volkswagen before the end of financial year. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
Tax time at Bunnings Trade ends today. Don't miss the AEG 18-volt 10-piece mega kit valued at over $3,500 for $1,999. Plus your choice of bonus nailer skin, lawnmower skin or 4 5-amp batteries via redemption. Don't miss out. Shop online now at Bunnings Trade.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
FIVEAA Breakfast with David and Lucy.
The Cherry Amoda 5, state-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
7:23 on your Friday morning. Sun is just coming up over here at High Marsh Square in the city, except it's not really sunny. It is grey, foggy. But tune in regardless on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook live stream. You'll be able to see through the windows there. Coming up very shortly, Feedback Friday after the 7:30 news. If you'd like to take part, give us a ring, 8223 0000. 1 in 3 will take home a $100 Samtas Seafoods voucher. There are no wrong answers. It's the easiest radio comp you can do. Give us a ring for Feedback Friday. We move now to talking about space. We have a proud space industry here in Adelaide. Matthew Pearson from Space Fleet Technologies will join us. They are an Adelaide-based company that has just been awarded a $4 million contract with the Oz Space Agency, all set to be the first Australian technology to touch down on the surface of the moon. Joining us now is Matthew Pearson. Morning, Matthew.
Good morning.
So, Matthew, tell us about this program. It's a real coup for Fleet Space to have been awarded the contract. What are you actually going to do and how's it going to work?
Well, we are going to send an instrument to touch down on the surface of the moon to listen to the kind of ambient rumblings, the natural hum of the moon. So all the micrometeorite impacts that hit it, all the expansion and contraction of the moon in the sunshine, all of that generates seismic noise, and we're going to listen to that.
So what's the actual thing that you're sending up there? Is it a satellite? Is it a rocket? What is it?
It's a sensor. We call it the Spider. It's a little seismic instrument that drops down from the belly of one of the landers on the surface and then sinks into the regolith. And we're using this to look for water. Basically, we need to find lots of water on the moon to fuel
future exploration of the solar system. Australia is very good at exploration, and so this is exactly the sort of thing that Australia should be doing in space.
I didn't think there was any water on the moon. Do you guys reckon there might be some there?
Oh, there's definitely water on the moon. The question is just how much and where, and how easy is it to extract.
So we might almost be looking at sort of good old South Aussie technology of sinking some sort of Outback style bore with a windmill somewhere near the Sea of Tranquility at some point.
I mean, in spirit, yes.
First windmill in space.
Matthew, I noticed as well in the handy press release I've got here, you've also got a future vision of Martian exploration, supporting the hunt of life beyond our planet. What do you reckon is out there? What are you looking for?
Again, we're looking what the Artemis mission, what NASA's trying to do is sustained human exploration, sustained human presence on other planets. We're going back to the moon and we're going on to Mars to stay. And so getting a foothold there, you need a few things. It's kind of the basics. You need water, you need a place to live, usually like a cave, and you need resources. So that's the type of stuff. We're looking for that nexus of all three, a handy cave, enough water, and minerals not too far away so that we can set up a little homestead in space.
The cave sounds less than appealing, but do what you got to do, right?
Yeah. Hey,
it's not for everyone.
Hey, Matthew, I'm not trying to rope you into saying anything controversial, but feel free to do so because I'm going to give you the opportunity. This is a great story in what's otherwise been a pretty poor week for the space industry in South Australia, isn't it? With the axing by the federal government of this National Space Mission for Earth observation program.
I think the federal government's reprioritising a bit. As they've said, there are other opportunities for space through other programs. And I think the big thing for space is we're always going to be there. I mean, space is an enabling industry that connects. What would we do without GPS on our phones and things like that, right? So space is always going to be there. But I like the federal government's approach to say, look, this has to be, let's not do space for space's sake. Let's do space with proper applications in mind, proper industry-led, commercial-led applications in mind. And that's exactly what Fleet is focused on doing. We have the opportunity now to build a space industry that is, it's fresh and it's new and it should be commercially focused and it should be leapfrogging what kind of other bigger space agencies around the world have done so far.
Yeah.
And we have a real opportunity to do something fresh. And I think that's kind of reflected in the new budget priorities.
Thank you, Matthew.
Great stuff.
Chief Exploration Officer from Fleet Space Technology. We always welcome space chats here on 5AA Breakfast. It's nice from an Adelaide-based company to hear firsthand what the grants go towards.
Certainly is. He was extremely polite about what Ed Husick's done to the local industry this week, though. Hey, just quickly, Brenda in Prospect on the Duttons text line says this: I still have the original newspaper iron-on transfer of ABBA in my ABBA collection. I have the pillowcases, socks, dolls, T-shirts, jumpers, to name a few, and in May I met Bjorn and Benny and had photos with them. What about that? You might say I'm an ABBA superfan. Indeed you are, Brenda.
Jane on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook live stream also says, I don't have the T-shirt, but yes, I definitely remember the ABBA transfer in the newspaper. She's got one of those crying, laughing emojis. I think she knows that you'd never get that again. Let's get to our sports update with Rowie and Treaders. Last night they talked about modern-day athletes being too nice on the field and in play on the back of some of the comments made by English cricket great Kevin Peterson.
I'm going to save the bagging for someone that has got cred. KP, Kevin Peterson. Oh, he'd come off the long run. Have a listen.
Now, it's one thing walking here, swanning around and saying, hey, this is a wonderful team to play in, but this is not Ashes cricket.
He is so right.
And he is so right.
It's too nicey-nicey,
No,
isn't
it is, but I saw exactly what he saw when they come back off a rain delay. They're all chatting and joking. The same thing happens on the AFL footy field. Bloke gets tackled hard to ground, they lift each other up and help each other out.
Yeah,
someone kicks a goal on someone, they go, oh, smile, smile.
Yeah.
What happened the old days? Don't talk to your opponent.
No, I'd like to
Bury
see
your
that come
opponent.
in. It's okay to shake hands and hug after the
Absolutely.
game,
Good
but
luck.
during the game.
Good luck,
yeah,
and or well played at the end.
Bury your opponent. Cut that up
Old
as a
school.
hotkey. Thank you, Treaders. More with Rowie and Treaders tonight. No doubt cricket and footy ahead of this weekend's games. $17 schnitty Monday to Wednesday at the Albion, Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barrow. Rowie and Treaders from 4 o'clock tonight.
This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Showers and 15 with the 7:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
SA police are building their case against the suspect in a double murder. Elderly Hackham couple Brenda and Linton Anderson died a year apart. It's believed they were poisoned by someone they knew. Detective Inspector Mark McKecken says they need public help to solve the crime.
We're appealing for any information they have in regard to either death. So that could be that they know Mr and Mrs Anderson, they've been privy to conversations that have been had about medications they take. Anyone that knows the family, I'm sure it'll be a shock to a lot of people that knew Mr and Mrs Anderson, that their deaths have been declared a major crime murder investigation.
Iconic SA bakery Balfours has been sold to a rival company in WA. Oz Pico, which makes Mrs Mac's pies, is set to take over on August the 1st. Workers at the company's Dudley Park factory have been told it'll be business as usual, with the new owners hoping to grow the brand nationally. Thousands of South Australians will finally see some cost of living help from tomorrow, but it's not all good news. Abby Smith explains.
Millions of Australians will benefit from cost of living help kicking in from tomorrow. The minimum wage will increase to more than $23 per hour, or just under $900 per week. Paid parental leave also increasing to 20 weeks for new parents. While workers will receive an extra $330 per year as superannuation contributions by employers rise. But there's major concerns about power bills, with prices to increase between 20 and 25%. We'll also be paying more for health insurance, with premiums to increase, and mobile phone plans also rising from tomorrow from some providers.
Former New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian hasn't ruled out challenging the Corruption Commission's findings. Yesterday, ICAC found she and former MP Darryl Maguire were guilty of serious corrupt conduct. The New South Wales government set to introduce deadlines after the Commission handed down its findings almost 2 years after she first resigned. Anyone flying to Sydney today is being warned to expect delays or even cancellations. Bad weather's affecting flights in and out of Sydney. At least a dozen have already been cancelled. Only one runway's operating due to gusty winds. Virgin Galactic has successfully marked its first commercial space flight, with the company making a fresh step into space tourism. Here's Lauren Tomasi.
The Galactic 1 mission marks a long-awaited milestone for Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic, with the launch of the first paying customers to the edge of space. The company's inaugural commercial flight was a research-focused mission with Italian Air Force-funded passengers who spent 90 minutes in the sky. Following a safe and successful launch today, the company intends to launch a second mission come August, and monthly flights after that are seek to space, costing more than $680,000.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Get 10-year warranty and 10 years capped price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Australia could be without Nathan Lyon for the rest of the Ashes series due to a calf injury. The spinner, playing his 100th consecutive Test match, limped from the field on day 2 at Lords. Vice-Captain Steve Smith says it would be a major blow to the side if Lyon was ruled out.
Just spin bowler, it's one role. Batters, I suppose there's loads of us around, so yeah, Nathan's obviously, if he's no good, he'd be a huge loss. However, we've got Todd Murphy who's waiting in the wings, who's been bowling beautifully in the nets and bowled really well in India when he got his opportunity as well.
Smith made a century before Australia was bowled out for 416, England reaching 4 for 278 at stumps. Let's go to football. Brisbane's kicked off round 16 with an 81-point thumping of Richmond at the Gabba. Joe Danaher led the way with 5 goals, while Lachie Neale picked up 34 touches and booted a couple of goals himself. Meantime, Adelaide defender Brodie Smith says the team is wary of North Melbourne despite the fact they're sitting in 17th spot on the ladder. Smith telling Rowie and Timmy G they're actually playing well.
They've had a pretty good month, so looking at them during the week, they've been playing some good footy and challenging sides, so the coaches were pretty fired up yesterday that if we don't come with the attitude that we had in the third quarter, it's going to be a really tough day for us. So we need to bring that third quarter, not the second quarter.
And one game in the NRL overnight with Cronulla smashing St George 52-16. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Look out for crashes at Wingfield on the Salisbury Highway at the Port River Expressway for city-bound, another at Paralawi on Waterloo Corner Road at Whites Road, and another at Carolta Park on Anzac Highway at South Road for city-bound. In Hindmarsh, there's debris on Port Road near Coghlan Street in the right lane affecting outbound. Check your speed today, Press Road, Brooklyn Park. Feel like a coffee? Enjoy a freshly ground barista-made quality coffee from OTR. Order on the OTR app and it's as easy as click and collect. OTR, making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Showers and 15, a shower or two tomorrow, 16, then partly cloudy for Sunday, 15. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide tech guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
We all want more time to do the things that really matter. Fortunately, Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer, has a great offer that will give you more time, literally. Right now, you can pick up the Samsung Galaxy S23 with 128 gigs and 5G for $0 up front when you connect to a new Optus $69 per month SIM-only plan for 24 months. And the real kicker is you'll receive a bonus Galaxy Watch 5 LTE via redemption. This watch is great for sleep tracking, health and wellness monitoring, plus it has a 13% longer lasting battery for everyday use. What a great bonus. This amazing offer ends July 3rd. Minimum cost $1,656, not available with other offers. In-store only, cancellation fees, terms and conditions apply.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you.
This month, all kids 14 and under get to go to the footy for free.
What about that?
That's all games between rounds 16 and 19 of the 2023 Toyota AFL Premiership season. From selfies to screamers and tasty treats.
Spectacular!
Make it an awesome day for the family with a day out at the footy. Kids go free rounds 16 to 19.
Boy, oh boy, wow-wee!
Go to afl.com.au/kidsmonth. Terms and conditions apply, subject to capacity and availability.
Do you think a concert pianist needs a builder's licence? No? Does a chartered accountant need one? Nah. Okay, then what about a house inspector? This will surprise you. Right now, there are no regulations in the industry that say you must be a builder to become a house inspector. House Inspect Australia has a team of the most qualified house inspectors in the nation. It's the biggest purchase decision of your life. Don't risk it. Go to houseinspectaustralia.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
only mean one thing. It is Feedback Friday. We've got one
Rocky?
spot left.
Have you watched Rocky yet?
I have not.
You haven't?
Yeah,
It was in the mix, but it didn't get voted up, did it?
No, that was a Coots and Tonus recommendation.
Oh, that's
that
right.
Came runner-up. It is Feedback Friday. We got one more spot, 8223 0000. Call Sam now and he'll squeeze you in. Coming up after 8 o'clock this morning in studio, Orazio Fantasia, followed by Bill Shorten answering NDIS questions.
If you've got NDIS questions, text them in, folks, because we'll put them to Bill when he's in here in the studio.
Absolutely. Shall we get underway with Feedback Friday? Got some cracking questions here, as we do every week, and one of our three callers will be up for a $100 Samtas Seafoods voucher. Let's go first of all, though, to Brad in Wandry Hill. Morning, Brad.
Morning, Dave and Lucy.
All right, Brad, today is June 30, which means it's tax time. Typically, are you a quick or a tardy tax file returner?
Oh, very tardy. Yeah.
How tardy? Do you push the due date, which is end of October usually? Are you in that realm?
Push it, I go beyond it.
You ever got a terse letter from the ATO, Brad?
I'm a real recalcitrant when it comes to tax submissions.
Good news,
I haven't
Brad.
had nothing yet because, I don't know, I've slipped through the net. But every year I vow and declare I'll get it on time and I'll fail dismally.
Well,
That's
if
right,
the tax
Brad.
office contacts us, Brad, we'll deny that this conversation ever took place.
Hey,
Exactly,
Brad,
yeah.
Rex is starting flights from Adelaide to Sydney. Started yesterday, in fact. Would you fly with Rex Airlines to Sydney?
Yeah, of course, no problems. If the price is good, why wouldn't I?
Yeah, they've got a special on now for $99. Book it while you can.
Really?
If you'd like to head to New South Wales, not everyone does, of course.
It's always good to see the big coat hanger.
Yeah. David headed to Maiponga last weekend. Wasn't quite Sydney, but he went to Maiponga to go truffle hunting. Brad, do you like truffles?
To be honest, I've never tried one. I've heard about them, but they cost an absolute poultice, so I wouldn't buy one.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
That's fair enough, Brad. The Premier has been reassured that Live Golf will return to Adelaide next year. Do you believe this will happen? And will you go?
Well, I wouldn't go because I'm not that interested in golf, but I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind at the end getting the permission to collect all the bottles and cans and cash them in.
I know.
Make a profit.
Head off to the local recycling centre, you'd be able to retire.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Brad, a report outlining the British royal family has shown that their net expenditure increased by £5 million over the past year. So they've spent an extra £5 million. Do you think the royal family are worth the money?
Oh, I don't. In England, they might be, but I think they're irrelevant here in Australia. I wouldn't give them $2 bob.
There you go.
They've been given a lot more than $2 bob over the last 12 months.
Thank you, Brad.
Great work, Brad.
Let's head on to Julie. Morning, Julie.
Hi there, guys. How are you doing? I love your work, Lucy.
Oh, thank you, Julie.
No, she's doing a great
And
job.
David.
And Dave.
Lucy's on fire.
Julie, Parliament House is constructing a wall to prevent people urinating on the garden on North Terrace. Have you ever been caught short in public?
What sort of a question's that?
You don't have to go
Do you know me,
details,
Lucy?
Julie.
Do you know me?
Yeah, you can just say yay or nay.
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 The nays have it.
The nays have it. Thank you,
The
Julie.
nays have it. I'm a horse.
Yeah, that's right.
Tom Duday brought his mum Cheryl into the studio yesterday for his Crows segment. Has your
Yes.
mum in your past or current ever come to work with you?
No, she hasn't. She used to take me to work because I used to sing when I was little.
Oh,
So
really?
I was on the Channel 9ers, and so Mum used to take me in, and it was funny because the Barbie movie's out now, and I used to sit in the dressing room waiting to go on with my Barbie doll.
Oh,
excellent.
There you go.
Yeah.
Julie, frog cakes have been sold to an interstate company, Damn the West. Where do you stand with frog cakes? Good or gross?
Love them. Absolutely love them.
Do you have a favourite colour, Julie? Are you a traditionalist? Do you go for the green one?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
How many do you think you've had in your life, Julie? The frog cakes have been around for 101 years. How many have you had?
About 72.
Specific.
That's a very accurate.
I like it.
I know.
Very accurate
Who's
account.
counting?
Another Australian classic celebrating its 100th birthday this year is Vegemite. They re-released their classic jingle this week. Julie, do you have a favourite jingle from a TV ad?
Let me think. The only one I can think of now, and it's ridiculous, but it's ba 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 Moran.
That was a cracking jingle, wasn't it?
Yeah, that counts.
South Aussie jingle,
Yeah,
of course.
totally.
Counts. And
Yeah.
Julie, Russia narrowly avoided civil war earlier this week. Do you think that Putin survives the year?
I have many answers to that question, but no.
No. We'll remember the day, 30th of June at 7:44, when Julie said no. Putin will not,
Yes, and
will not
after
survive.
eating a 73rd frog cake.
Yeah, that's right. We'll remember this
Maybe we
day.
could knock him off
Thank
with
you,
a poison
Julie.
frog cake. That'd be good.
Well, we'll have to contact the new company from August the 1st, Oz Pico. Anyway.
I keep thinking about SA jingles now. I've got the Shoe Shed song in my head.
Yeah, I've got the Lubemobile will come to you ad in
Oh,
mind.
yeah. Your mobile mechanic. That one was a good one, yeah.
Ben in Glenelg is our third Feedback Friday. Morning, Ben.
Morning, Lucy. It's Ben Jordan as well. Penbo, how are you?
Ben Jordan, Statsman.
Benito, how are you, mate?
Very well, yourselves?
Yeah, good
We're
to hear from you, Ben.
Thanks for helping us out with the stats always, Ben. Hey,
Statistically, Ben gives us more stats than anybody.
where am
Well, I
I?
can give you one more on inflation if you like afterwards.
Oh, well, my first question is about inflation to you, Ben. I know you love your economics. Inflation has hit the royal family, King Charles declaring that Buckingham Palace will now turn down the heating to 19 degrees. What is your best way of keeping warm this winter?
Well, family of 3 kids, so got the gas fire out at the back, so that keeps everyone pretty warm and happy.
Excellent.
Good tactic.
Lee Matthews this week has gone to Royal Ascot and the Ashes Test at Lords. Both are bucket list items for Lee Matthews. What is one thing on your bucket list you want to do, Ben?
Hard to go past Lords, but the old cricket tour to the Caribbean would be high on the bucket list.
2 different climates there.
You know,
Which
you
do
know
you
who did
prefer?
that? You know who did that when he finished university? Peter Malinauskas went to the Caribbean with a whole bunch of his mates. Everyone I know who's been there says it's excellent. And apparently the one thing you have to eat is goat curry.
Is that right?
Yeah, they're mad on the goat curry at the cricket.
There you go. Personal recommendation for your upcoming Caribbean trip there, Ben. The Adelaide City Council have knocked back approval for a 12-storey apartment on South Terrace this week. Do you think we need a city council?
Yes, but not in its current form.
We'd have a lot less to talk about without one.
Well, that's true. Yeah, go for the Brisbane one. They've got one that covers the whole city. Then we can get rid of half a dozen other councils while we're at it as well.
Yeah.
Firm views. Kylie Minogue, Ben, has ruled herself sadly out of performing at the 2023 AFL Grand Final. Who would you pick to perform?
That is a good question. I was lucky enough to be at 98 and had hunters and collectors there, so that brings back some pretty good memories.
Oh, yeah.
So get the Holy Grail going again.
Yeah, stick with the classics.
So you would bring back someone who's already performed rather than a newbie?
It's 25 years ago, Lucy.
Yeah.
It's long enough. It's a good memory, 98,
That's
back
fair
to
enough.
back.
Yeah, good omen, surely.
Exactly.
And Ben, of course, Vegemite, we mentioned, has just turned 100 this year. What is your favourite way of eating Vegemite?
On toast with butter, Lucy, as you said yesterday. You've got to have the butter on it, so...
a purist.
Someone texted in saying they like to have butter as thick as a Vegemite, as thick as a paver.
I don't mind it thick. I think it's good.
Ben, how thick are you talking for your Vegemite? As a paver or, 1 mil?
No, it's just 2 mils.
2 mils. There we go. Thank you, Ben.
I like that you've gone mils as well, Lise. Makes it sound like you're a tradie. You know, I think you're clearly a DIY wannabe if you're talking to a tradesman, you describe something in centimetres. No one's doing that.
I'm definitely not a DIY wannabe in any sense. Ben, sorry, I was going to ask what your inflation stat was.
Yep, Australia's highest inflation rate was actually way back in 1951. It was 23.9% just at the end of the removal of the price controls after World War II and the wool boom was going on. So 6% at the moment seems not so bad compared to that.
Yeah, absolutely it does.
Thank you, Ben.
Now we need to pick a winner, don't we?
Well, for that stat, it's very timely.
Yeah.
Should we give it to Ben?
Yeah, I reckon.
$100 Samtas Seafoods voucher, Ben, coming your way for the best quality seafood at best prices. Go to Samtas Seafoods, Richmond Road, open 7 days, but no fear.
I think Ben's actually, despite the extraordinary contribution he makes to the show, I don't think he's actually ever won anything either. So there you go,
Well,
Ben.
there you go, $100 of seafood to you, Ben. But for Julie and Brad, no fear. I've got a Friday surprise for you. You are each getting tickets to the Beer and Barbecue Fest for you and 3 friends to head along. That is on July 14th to 16th at Adelaide Showground. Get your tickets now from beerandbarbecuefest.com.au. Celebrate beers, barbecue and music. But Julie and Brad, you are each off to Beer and Barbecue Fest.
Lucky them.
Coming up at 7:50, we are chatting wet weather in South Australia's Outback. But first, let's check your traffic of the morning.
Look out for crashes this morning at Wingfield on the Salisbury Highway at the Port River Expressway for Citybound, at Paralawi on Waterloo Corner Road at Whites Road, and at Karolta Park on Anzac Highway at South Road for Citybound. Also look out at Hindmarsh. There's debris on Port Road near Coghlan Street in the right lane affecting outbound. Check your speed today, Ridley Grove Ferryden Park. The Audi end of financial year event is on now, presenting you with an exciting opportunity across a range of exceptional models. Drive Progress today. Ends June 30. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hurry! Just 6 days remain in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. This could be your ticket to leaving interest rates behind and living mortgage-free in absolute luxury. With over 13,000 prizes, you have a 1 in 15 chance of winning. So join the fight and don't miss your chance to change your life and thousands of South Australians. Get your tickets and see full lottery details at homelottery.com.au today.
Licence M14364.
The all
all-new 2.5-litre Nissan X-Trail has been awarded the 2023 Drive Car of the Year Best Medium SUV. And with Nissan Future Value Business Plus, a new fleet finance solution for small to medium businesses, you can drive the award-winning Nissan X-Trail ST for competitive weekly repayments that include the cost of scheduled servicing for the loan term. Visit nissan.com.au/business plus or contact your local Nissan dealer. Approved ABN registered small to medium fleet applicants of Nissan Financial Services. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
Sold by McGain again.
And because there is still limited stock available, it's important to get along to these open inspections.
On Saturday from 12 to 12:30, Mike Dobbin and Zoe Ball are opening 47 Riverview Drive in Port Noarlunga. It is close to the Port Noarlunga township. This spacious 3-bedroom home offers ensuite, 3 separate living areas, including a huge rumpus room, updated kitchen, veranda, carport, all on a large 730 square metre block. It's perfect for young and growing families in the range of $695 to $735K.
How good is Port Noarlunga? I reckon Port Noarlunga is one of the absolute best suburbs in South Australia because it's so close to the city as well. Beautiful beach. And on Sunday from 1:30 to 2 p.m, Danielle Comer and Rachel Farrer are opening 3 George Francis Drive, Mount Compass, home of the Compass Cup. For those of you who are into cow racing, perfectly positioned to take advantage of the panoramic views across the Mount Compass golf course. Great course. This spacious family home offers 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, multiple living areas. Really needs to be seen to be believed. $795 to $819K.
Well, I am indeed into cow racing, so I shall be checking out that listing plus more McGain listings, all at their website, mcgain.com.au.
Soak up the winter rain and huge savings at Vidoulis Garden Centre's massive end of financial year sale. Get 20% off everything in store. That's 20% off outdoor furniture, 20% off all plants, 20% off pots and potting mix, 20% off giftware and homewares. Yes, that's 20% off everything. On now till Sunday, Vidoulis Garden Centre's end of financial year sale, Main North Road, Gawler, opposite the racecourse. Some conditions apply.
Oh, you're gardening now? How am I supposed to work? Oh, shut up! Wait, KFC are doing 8 wicked wings for just $8 online.
Shut up and take my money!
Not everywhere, an offer ever. Order online and pick up only.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
5AA Breakfast with David and Lucy.
The Cherry Motor 5, state-of-the-art driving from 33K drive away with immediate delivery. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
7:53 on this Friday. We are up and about for the final hour of the show. Matthew Pantelis coming up after 9 o'clock, but all in our latest hour, Orazio Fantasia in studio and Bill Shorten in studio. Just looking out the windows here at Highmarsh Square, Will, it is a pea super.
Will?
David, sorry. We're all on holiday mode, even though I'm not going on holidays. Sorry, we're tormenting Will in his absence.
I'm the browner, more dishevelled one, Luce.
Yes.
He talks about the economy all the time and has, excellent hair.
Can we say that on air?
Manicured as he is by the good people at Channel 7.
Linda also referenced on the Foodland Supermarket Facebook live stream that it was a pea super in the hills above the tunnels out here in the CBD. A very thick fog at the moment, so please drive to the conditions. Someone else who's been watching the weather closely as we head a bit further north than Adelaide, we're heading to a place called Mungarani. It is in South Australia's Outback. They, of course, have had the deluge of rain that Adelaide has had, but it's caused a few more problems for them. We welcome Andrew Norman from the Mungarani Hotel to the show. Good morning, Andrew.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, we're very well, thank you. Now, we'll chat about the weather in a moment, but tell us about Mungarani. You're along the Birdsville track, I understand?
Yeah, halfway between Maree and Birdsville. It's a bit of a pathway to get to the bash.
So, mate, you've got 100 tourists stuck there at the moment. I guess in a descending order of importance, are they all okay? But most of all, have you got enough beer?
Yeah, beer's sorted. We're right for beer. Milk's a bit of a problem, but coffees in the morning are getting hard to come by. But otherwise, no, we're pretty right, and everyone's sort of coping okay. Yeah.
So you've got about 30 people. Are they all just moving through, and this has just been a stop for them, and they're just there a little bit longer, or are some were actually originally booked in to stay with you, and now they've got a few more friends?
Yeah, all of them are sort of moving through, going up the bash. There's one crew that are going through to Cairns, But they've all, just been stuck here and, just had to extend their stay. But everybody's been quite happy about it. They sort of, inadvertently worked out it was probably better to be stuck here than somewhere else where it was,
for sure.
Way too busy.
Or where they didn't have any sort of facilities. Because I guess, jokes aside, a lot of them have probably got kids and stuff. How are they keeping them entertained?
Yeah, we got the Starlink going, which has been saved the day for everybody.
Is that the Starlink? Is that the TV?
Yeah, the internet.
Oh, the Elon Musk satellite internet. Oh, that's lucky. The 5 or 6 dots in the sky that we see in a line, that's what saved you guys.
Yeah, but there's a couple of crews that tried to push on. Apparently they're stuck, up the road in a hole. Yeah, so they've been there for 3 days.
Have you had to actually rescue anyone? I know we've spoken to Trevor Wright from up that way. He's a pilot as well. Have you actually had to rescue anyone in the last few days?
No, but we've got to go up and see this crew this morning. The Department of Roads sort of, spoke to us yesterday to go up and have a look at them this morning. And see where they're at, and they're okay and everything. So, we're going to head off in about half an hour.
There's forecast for more rain down in town. I'm not sure exactly what the forecast is for you guys, Andrew. But when you do get rain like this, I'm sure you've seen it plenty of times before. How long does it take for it to disappear normally?
It's about 3 days. Pretty much until the track's ready to go. It's sort of firm underfoot now, but there's quite boggy areas in between other bits, and that's sort of where you get stuck.
So, for context, Andrew, you are 10.5 hours drive from our studios here in Highmarsh Square, 858 kilometres straight up the R.M. Williams Way. What does that mean, this much rain to a town where you guys are in the Outback? What does this much rain actually mean? What does it look like?
Right now it doesn't look much different than what it did a couple of days ago.
Right.
Apart from the big little bog holes and that. But, it brings the place alive. Look, certainly all the birds. We've got the wetlands here, and the wetlands are full now, and, there's significantly more birds and tweeting action going on than there was a week ago. So, must mean something for them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it must be a beautiful place to be. Well, mate, good luck waiting for it to dry out, and, hopefully you can get some milk in there for those morning coffees. It's an extraordinary country we live in, isn't it?
Yeah. Just living the dream here.
Oh, thank you, Andrew. Good luck with the rescue of those people further down the track. The concert itself, they're going to see Kate Sobrano, the Hoodoo Gurus, well worth the 10.5 hour drive.
That is one hell of a lineup. How much fun would that be, seeing the Hoodoo Gurus?
Stuck at a pub. It's not all bad, really.
Leilani and I Want You Back, all of those hits from Stone Age Romeos, Lise.
Pete Murray, Icehouse as well, were there at the bash.
To the suggestion that we have Old Guy Vinyl added to the movie list, I think Stone Age Romeos by the Hoodoo Gurus has to be on your must-listen-to LPs.
Old Guy Vinyl. I think it was Boomer Albums.
Boomer Albums,
is the latest category. Coming up after 8 o'clock, we will have Breaking at 8. Some more of your Meat Tray Friday calls, all thanks to Corinthian Meats. We're asking you this morning, what would you rename Adelaide after Anastasia Palaszczuk and the Queensland Greens are attempting to rename Brisbane Meanjin? But we're asking, what would you rename Adelaide? Give us a ring, 8223 0000. We'll take your calls after Breaking at 8.
The Kia EV6 GT. A sleek, pure electric supercar. Enjoy your flight. The Kia EV6 GT.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Hi Adelaide, this is Tom Burlinson. Start spreading the news. I'm proud to present my brand new show, all of Sinatra's greatest hits. That's life. Performed live, as always, with my world-class big band. And did it my way. Tickets on sale now.
Tom Burlinson sings Sinatra, the Capri Theatre, Saturday, September 16. Book now, capri.org.au.
Tax time ends today at Bunnings Trade. Don't miss our final day of deals, like the AEG 18-volt Fusion 10-piece mega kit for just $1,999. That's over $3,500 worth of tools for just $1,999. Plus, get your choice of AEG nailer skin, Fusion lawnmower skin, or 4 5-amp force batteries via redemption. Don't miss out. Shop online now at Bunnings Trade. Helping business is our trade.
Think of all the items on your eBay wish list. New tech? Furniture? Parts and accessories for your car? Now, imagine they're all yours. Nice thought, isn't it? This end of financial year, eBay is offering unmissable savings on all the items you love, with millions of items on sale. Just head to ebay.com.au to turn your want list into your got list. T's and C's apply. Limited time only.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 15 with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettick.
Physio Extra now offers holistic lipedema and lymphedema services. Go to physioextra.com for more.
Detectives say they've identified a primary suspect in the murder of an elderly Hackham couple. Brenda and Linton Anderson, both 94, died a year apart in 2022 and 23. Toxicology reports have revealed they had an abnormal amount of prescription drugs in their systems. Detective Inspector Mark McKecken believes they were poisoned by someone they knew.
We're not prepared to speculate as to what the motivation is in relation to either death, but we do, however, appeal to anyone that may have any information regarding each death, to anyone who may have so far withheld information from us to come forward.
Balfours has been sold to an interstate company, but no job losses are expected at this stage. Ozpico, based in WA, isn't ruling out redundancies down the track though. The change in ownership will take effect from August. The product lines will stay the same. Former New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian could take legal action after ICAC made corruption findings against her. More from Clinton Maynard.
Once the most popular premier in the country, now labelled corrupt by ICAC. While Gladys Berejiklian won't be charged, her reputation has been gravely damaged by the finding that she engaged in corrupt conduct. Her legal team is now examining the report and could take court action. ICAC has determined her failure to declare her relationship with Darren Maguire and role in directing funding to projects in his electorate constitutes serious corruption. Ms Berejiklian maintains she always worked hard in the public's interest and there is nothing in the report to suggest otherwise.
Bad weather's affecting flights in and out of Sydney. At least a dozen have already been cancelled. Gusty winds have closed runways and more delays or cancellations are likely. It's the second day travel's been interrupted. An air traffic controller shortage yesterday saw flights axed on the east coast. There's been another earthquake in Victoria early this morning. The epicentre south of Mansfield measured 4.6, occurring just after 1:30. But people in Melbourne CBD reported feeling the shake, including Andrea.
I was watching TV, the TV signal went a bit funny, I heard a rumble and then the loudest bang and then the building just shook and it did not stop shaking. The bed was shaking, my lamp fell onto the ground.
And the great Taylor Swift ticket chase continues today. Mel Usher has details.
South Australians wanting to see Taylor Swift live in Australia next year will need to be online today. After VIP sales and pre-sales, it's time for the general public to get their hands on tickets. Taylor is only playing Melbourne and Sydney in 2024 and sales have been staggered to cope with demand. The Sydney shows, there are now 4, will go on sale at 9:30 this morning our time. The Melbourne shows, there are now 3, will go on sale at 1:30 p.m. And if at first you don't succeed in securing tickets,
turning to 5AA Sport.
Get 10-year warranty and 10 years capped price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Tom Wren.
Cricket first, and it's feared Nathan Lyon will be ruled out for the remainder of the Ashes series after picking up a calf injury while fielding in the second test. England finished at 4 for 278 at stumps on day 2 at Lords in reply to Australia's total of 416. To football, Brisbane has ended Richmond's hot streak under interim coach Andrew McWalter. Joe Danaher kicked 5 goals as the Lions thumped the Tigers by 81 points at the Gabba. It marked the club's third consecutive win since a shock loss to a young Hawthorn side at the MCG. Lions coach Chris Fagan says going down to the Hawks after the bye was a big wake-up call.
The Hawthorn game made us put the spotlight back on team defence. I mean, it was a big thing that we worked on over the pre-season, and for most of our games this year, it's been pretty strong. Just not in round one against Port, not against Hawthorn, but outside of that, we've been better than okay.
And the Crows and Port Adelaide will both have captains' runs today ahead of their respective matches tomorrow and tomorrow night. Let's go to tennis, and Aussie Storm Hunter has qualified for the main draw at Wimbledon after winning her way through qualifying, but she was the only one as 10 others, Aussies that is, failed to make it. Well, the Socceroos have moved up 2 places to 27th in the FIFA World Rankings. Meantime, Manchester United has agreed to sign Chelsea midfielder Mason Mount in a transfer deal worth around £60 million. And in some golf, Americans Taylor Moore and Peter Kust are sharing the lead at a PGA event in Detroit at 8 under. That's after the opening round with Cam Davis, the best of the Aussies, 5 shots back. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Look out for a crash at Wingfield on Salisbury Highway at the Port River Expressway affecting Citybound, another at Paralawi on Waterloo Corner Road at Whites Road. In Hindmarsh, there's debris on Port Road near Coghlan Street in the right lane affecting outbound, and in Irbrae there's a burst water main on Glen Osmond Road at the bottom of the freeway. Check your speed, Kings Road, Paralawi. Absolutely everything is on sale at Freedom. Get up to 55% off all mattresses by Sealy and Freedom. Sale ends soon. Only at Freedom, Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Showers and 15 today, a shower or 2 tomorrow, 16, partly cloudy on Sunday, 15, and cloudy for Monday, 14. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
5AA Breakfast with David and Lucy.
Test drive the Cherry Emoda 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
8:07 for your Friday morning. Top of 15 degrees expected today. Pretty foggy out there. Showers also expected.
It's a real pea super.
Real pea super, as we say to Will.
Do you reckon he's listened to the show at all this week? Do you think it's just
Will
like,
is currently in Fiji.
Fingernails on a blackboard? Is he really?
So I'm going to take a strong bet that Will is not listening to the show this week from Fiji. I'm just going to say,
he's listened to a second of it.
I don't think he is listening.
Well,
hey, coming up this half
should be
hour,
worried if he has been, Luce.
Orazio Fantasia will join us in studio.
Very impressed with the job you're doing in his absence. Very impressed.
I will welcome him back anytime. We'll check on your fuel situation, some more of your Meat Tray Friday calls, but also something to be aware of. If you are travelling to Sydney this morning, leaving Sydney, you know someone who's at Sydney Airport, just have a check of flights. More than 48 domestic flights across all major airlines have been cancelled at Sydney Airport as of 7 o'clock due to weather. So if you are going to Sydney or expecting someone back from Sydney this morning, just jump on the Adelaide Airport website to check if those flights have been impacted. Something else that's coming up today, very exciting for a Friday. Always good news in Jade Robrin's show just after 3 o'clock. Chris Jarma is joining Jade for the 5AA Food and Wine Show, all thanks to Smeg, building or renovating. Your first choice should be visiting the Smeg showroom at Debney Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg. No doubt he's got a winter warmer for Jade and the audience this afternoon. But first, let's get into Breaking at 8.
Well, a few weeks ago, the Premier Peter Malinauskas sounded the alarm in response to concerns raised by local builders about the fact that at the behest of the CFMEU, with the support of the CFMEU, which now obviously is run here in South Australia by the Victorian firebrand John Setka, who I've had the pleasure of talking to a couple of times over the last few weeks. What the CFMEU is keen on doing here in South Australia is getting all of the workers in the local building industry to have their entitlements and benefits and everything covered by a Victorian organisation called IncoLink. Now, IncoLink does a lot of terrific work for people in the construction industry. Over in Melbourne, it did a great job doing COVID vaccinations on building sites, did a great job helping to keep the building industry open during lockdown over there as well. But at the same time, it's been accused of being a cash cow because a lot of the money that it generates and holds is used to fund programs, some of which critics say lack transparency on behalf of the CFMEU and also on behalf of the Victorian arm of the Master Builders Association. So the entire organisation, which controls more than $800 million worth of funds, is essentially capable of handing money back to those two Victorian entities. So now what they're trying to do is get South Australian building workers to be covered by Incolink, even though for decades we've had our own scheme here in South Australia called Burst, which holds about $42 million worth of workers' entitlements. Now, what the Premier has said, and the local arm of the Master Builders Association agrees with him, is why is it that South Australian builders should pay any money into an entity that is wholly run out of Victoria and which has the de facto benefit of funding these two Victorian organisations? I know that he's had meetings with the Master Builders Association here about it. He's spoken in Parliament about it. Well, my mail is that despite his concerns, the CFMEU is pushing hard locally for Incolink to take over from Burst anyway, and it's coming to a head within the next couple of days, where they're saying that as far as they're concerned, under any new enterprise agreement signed after July 1, South Australian builders will now have to pay their weekly rate per worker into Incolink rather than Burst. There's been no explanation as to the transparency around the use of South Australian funds by this Victorian entity. I know that builders here are spewing about it. The union says, we're all paranoid and there's nothing to worry about. The real, I think, the people who are the most sus in all of this are the Victorian Master Builders Association, who look like they're working cheek by jowl with the CFMEU because they're on an absolute winner financially with the pot of gold that it provides to their organisation.
We'll get to some more of your Meat Tray Friday calls shortly, but let's check the fuel situation if you are driving on the roads this morning, all thanks to RAA. See where the cheapest fuel is in an instant with the free RAA app. Download it today. Unleaded is hovering in the $1.70s. The Coles Express on Marion Road in Parkholme's $1.74. Coles Express in Modbury North on Montague Road is $1.73. The cheapest unleaded in the city, though, Silver's Auto Centre at Gilbert Street in the CBD. And if you're looking for some cheap diesel, we said yesterday it's now always been cheaper than unleaded. Shell Petters Crescent in Regency Park is $1.63. Meat Tray this morning, we are asking, what would you rename Adelaide, given that Anastasia Palaszczuk and her the Greens Party of Queensland, yes, have suggested that they will rename, or they're keen to rename Brisbane Meanjin, the Indigenous name for Brisbane. So we're asking, what would you rename Adelaide? All thanks to the team at Corinthian Meats. You could win a meat tray from Peter, Harry and the team there in Torrensville. Dave in South Brighton, good morning to you.
Morning, guys. I'll give you a couple of examples of things around Adelaide. So we've got the tram extension from Victoria Square, the pedestrian footbridge, the supercar race, Adelaide Oval upgrade. What do they all have in common? Everyone protested about them, but loves them when it's here. So I think we should call Adelaide Whingesville.
We do love a good whinge here.
Oh, do we ever?
Thanks, Dave. Let's go to Rita in Oakton. Morning, Rita.
Good morning. I like to be futuristic and call rename Adelaide Stargate 1.
Stargate 1?
Yes, seeing we've got so much interest in Lot 14, and that would be claiming a world first. That there will be lots of tourists coming. And, of course, being Aussies, we would have a spin-off and make Zoe happy by having ET T-shirts.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, a whole lot of industry coming up there.
Some real lateral thinking there, Rita.
Thank you, Rita.
We sort of tried that a bit with the MFP, didn't we?
Yeah,
that was John Bannon's crazy idea.
We could try again. Let's head down to Grange. Morning, Vinny.
G'day, guys. I think you should call it Spartacus, the land of the gods.
Any particular reason why, Vinny?
There's a lot of churches around Adelaide. I thought that could add in.
I am Spartacus.
No, I am Spartacus.
Have you seen Spartacus, Lisa?
I haven't, but
we'll add that to the list.
I get the reference.
It's getting longer and longer.
Let's go to Summertown. Good morning, Mark.
Howdy. I think this is a ridiculous idea, and just to make a mockery of it all, as a result, change the name of Adelaide to Brisbane.
So you're saying, Mark, that we'd have two Brisbanes, or the Queensland Brisbane would be Meanjin, and therefore we would then be Brisbane?
They can do what they like. I think we take advantage of all the marketing that Brisbane's got and pile in on Adelaide and double up Peter Mellon House because I'd love it.
I'm trying to think, what has Brisbane got that we haven't got? What's the thing you want from Brisbane? You certainly don't want the restaurants.
They've got a city cat, so you can jump like an Adelaide Metro, but for the water.
Oh, okay.
Same as the Sydney Manly ferry. They've got a city cat which goes through Brisbane CBD along the river. Jump on and off
It's
the
funny,
ferry.
isn't it? Like the extent to which we are so utterly tied up about the sacrosanct quality of the parklands, the river and all of that in Brisbane, and I'm certainly not advocating this approach because I think it's crazy. They've built completely along that river. So much of it is private housing. It's crazy. Imagine if they tried to do that here. You can't even replace a clapped out sports shed in Park 21.
Someone tweeted us or texted us. They want to call us Nimbiapolis.
Nimbiapolis.
Yeah, shoot your comments through to our 5AA Breakfast Twitter at 5AA Breakfast, or of course text in with your comments before 9 o'clock this morning on the Duttons text line. Check out all of the end of financial year offers at Duttons dealerships in Mount Barker and Murray Bridge. Coming up shortly is Port player Orazio Fantasia, followed by Bill Shorten, both live in the studio. Not in the same conversation, but exciting to have guests in the studio this Friday. Just before we check your traffic.
We're not going to ask Bill Shorten about football because he's an insufferable Collingwood supporter. Wow. In fact, having said that, it's not too late for us to cancel the interview.
I was going to say, stop right there. Don't even bring that up.
No.
Don't bring that up.
Hopefully he's not listening.
A text here for Orazio, in fact, listening out there in the booth. We still love you at Norwood, but once you put the black and white rag on, you're just another enemy. Thank you for the banter.
That's harsh.
You can respond to that in a moment, Orazio. Let's check traffic this morning for your drive-in. Car battery slow to start. Search RAA battery. Battery replacement only available to RAA road service holders. T's and C's apply.
In Darlington, there's a crash on Flagstaff Road near Highland Avenue, another at Paralawi on Waterloo Corner Road at Whites Road, and another at Wingfield on Salisbury Highway approaching the Port River Expressway, causing heavy delays for city-bound. Also look out at Hindmarsh. There's debris on Port Road near Coglan Street in the right lane affecting outbound. Check your speed, Whites Road, Paralawi. Weight Watchers 60% off end of financial year sale has been extended. Hurry, ends at midnight. Join now at www.com. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
B. Smith, welcome. Did the team offer to chip in and pay for Ben Keys' $1,000 fine with the Mason Cox goggle thing?
No, we didn't ask. Okay. No, we didn't chip in. Yeah, I think we might shout Keysy a few coffees.
Rowie and Timmy G.
Was Cox being a big you-know-what on the field?
He was definitely throwing his frame around, that's for sure. I was going to say, wait, there's not much of him. Yeah, he was. But credit to him, he kicked 2 clutch goals.
4 p.m. weekdays on 5AA.
Officeworks' wide selection of printers has the range to meet every business need. With printers starting from $39, Officeworks can help your business no matter your budget size. Great value tax essentials at Officeworks.
Everyone at the back, please. Sitting quietly, please. In a circle, thank you. Today we're going to talk about what we'd like to be when we grow up.
A police girl. Race car driver. I want to be a gymnast. I want to be a concreter. With Adelaide Exposed Concrete. I want to be a concreter too. Me too.
AdelaideExposedConcrete.com.au. Best on ground all year round.
What's a concreter?
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. We're helping life flow.
For a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
If you thought it was tricky to source a great end of financial year deal on a new Volkswagen, think again. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen has loaded up on new stock. That's a massive range of new and demo Volkswagens available for delivery right now. Loads of colours, loads of options, plus on-site finance options available. Get in now and secure your new Volkswagen before the end of financial year. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
FIVEAA Breakfast with David and Lucy.
The Cherry Motor 5, state-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
8:20 on your Friday morning. SAPOL have just put out a note. There's a 4-car crash on Flagstaff Road in Darlington affecting northbound traffic. No reports of serious injury, but please avoid the area if possible. 4-car crash on Flagstaff Road in Darlington. But it is a Friday. It is time for
Orazio Fantasia. Intercepted almost by Orazio Fantasia. Orazio Fantasia. Orazio Fantasia. Orazio Fantasia. Orazio. Ho, 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 it's magic.
Morning to you, Raz.
Morning, Lou.
This is sort of fun, isn't it? I like interviewing our footy players.
She's got footy in her jeans, though, with her old man. Someone on Twitter yesterday, Luce, found the picture, the Scanlon's bubblegum card of your dad.
They?
Yeah, put it up
Excellent.
on Twitter. Terrific. Because they got rid of the bubblegum cards. Now, mate, we didn't catch up with you last week because it was a bye for Port at the AFL level and also at the SANFL level. So we were sort of like thinking, well, you know, there's no games to talk about. But
Without
sadly,
jinxing it, I'm
though,
sure we'll make it up in the final series.
we will.
Don't worry.
Mate, for all the wrong reasons, you're back in the news again.
Can't seem to escape it, can I?
No. I mean, it's just, you know, when we saw the story, it's like, oh, no. But so what actually happened?
The most frustrating part about this is it's not a significant injury. It's a tiny little strain in my hamstring that it'll probably just miss this week. And that's where I guess the frustration comes from, because I was just starting to build some form, sort of, you know, 1 step forward, 2 step back.
We had a good game against Norwood, despite the result, but you got a couple of goals from memory.
Yep. And against Central's week before, I felt like I was back to my old self. I was agile and moving well, and I kicked 4 there. And just before half-time against Norwood, I felt that hamstring go, and just, unfortunately it's only a small strain. So, I'll probably miss this week, but hopeful for next week.
Yeah. Has it been, I mean, it sounds like a brutal question, but has it made you think, like, what next? Has it made you think about your football mortality at all?
I think it's made me question my processes, if that makes sense, like what I do during the week and things like that, which is a little bit hard because I think that's what used to make me good, how diligent I was, how, you know, I'd eat well, recover well and do all those sorts of things. And now things like this happen, you just go, why do they keep happening? And obviously I'm not going to know the answer. I don't think I'm going to find it, but that's where the sort of questioning comes from.
Yeah.
Orazio, of course, all thanks to the mighty South Aussies Foodland. Great food lives at Foodland. So the home game, Sandful for Port against West. You're going to head along and watch the boys tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're starting to build some form at Sandful level, and obviously we're in form at AFL level. But you know, the last sort of month or 6 weeks in Sandful, we haven't really been blown out in any games, and if not, we're winning. So I think we've only, the biggest loss is like 7 points in the last little bit. So, you know, we've got lots of young players coming through, developing and learning, which is really exciting for, I think, all Port fans.
And at the AFL level, like, it's just chugging along beautifully, isn't it? It's extraordinary.
I don't want to jinx it, but it really is. And I think, you know, as simple as it is, we're just having fun.
Yeah.
We're just enjoying the ride, and we're just, everything's based on pressure, and I think you can see that in the way we play. We're relentless.
They're playing your old side this weekend in Melbourne. How do you feel about watching that from home? Mixed emotions, or
I just want to play in it.
Yeah.
Really, like, I just want to get into some of my old teammates and things like that. So it sort of sucks on that sense. But you know, I think Essendon, if you let them play, and we spoke about during the week, if you let them play their game, they can score and move the ball quickly. So we've got to be on our game.
It's difficult when you're not in the team, and I can tell just from the expression on your face how much you just do anything to be out there against the Bombers on the weekend. But part of the good news story that is Port this year has also had some unfortunate sort of bad news stories for individuals. None bigger, I guess, than Tom Jonas. I mean, it's a great sign for the side that it's so hard to get in. One thing I thought, though, it was just amazing this week seeing the interviews with a number of the the current AFL players are out there every weekend and have totally consolidated their spot in the side, but totally passionately saying Tom is our captain.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's not there doesn't mean that he's not still the leader.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Oh, I think, the 2 hours on the weekend is important, but it's the whole week and what he does for the club and for all of us. He's just the most caring, compassionate captain. Would do anything for the team. And I think that's why we all just love him. And he knows, it'd be challenging for him, but he knows that anything can happen. So he's staying ready like all of us, and he will get a shot soon for sure.
Yeah.
He's been named as an emergency for this game, I know. Is he headed to Melbourne?
I don't know, Luce. I don't know the flight.
Dunno.
I'm not sure if I can.
What is he, flight centre?
Well, I don't know.
I might
I
head
can tell you.
might head to the
Who
airport
knows?
and
He might be
stake
the
out.
sub, the super sub.
Hey, mate, wearing your old Essendon hat, see that story, floating the idea of changing the logo, getting rid of the bomber? What do you think of that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. It's sort of iconic, I think.
Yeah.
The old bomber logo, so I don't know.
Not entirely sure why people would be so troubled by it.
Well, it's just another conversation on cancel culture, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
If a Japanese bomber reference that might be included within Essendon's history be the reason it upsets you, well, it opens the door for a lot of things. We had a few of those discussions, like Port Power might want to change their logo from a lightning bolt because some people hate lightning. Like where do you stop?
Yeah,
I mean,
I get hit by lightning.
I hate thunderstorms. That's my biggest fear. I'm not asking Port to change their logo.
I'm going to change it for you.
Thank you. Hey, against Essendon, you guys only played them not that long ago, and you won by, what was it, 5 points?
Yeah, not much.
What do you reckon it might look like this weekend?
Yeah, hopefully not the start that they had against us last time. I think they kicked 10 goals won in the first maybe half or three quarters, so they couldn't really miss. So hopefully not like that. And they had the game on their terms, really free-flowing. That's how they want it. They want to move the ball quickly. So hopefully it's more of an arm wrestle. It's more of a contest how we want it on the weekend.
We'll see how Port go after the bye, because it's been hard for a lot of sides to come back after the week off.
Yeah, hopefully.
Almost all of them, in fact.
Yeah, I think all of them have lost. So hopefully we can be the team that wins off the bye.
How's the Alberton development looking, by the way? Sam went down there the other day, saw the lights.
Yeah, the lights are amazing. The boys, we had dinner at the club the other night and we were watching the Maggies train, and the whole ground. I feel sorry for the neighbours. It was so bright. It was so bright.
Well,
yeah.
Some of them already complained.
Yeah, they did, and that's probably why. Yeah, it was amazing. It's looking great. So hopefully that's done soon.
Be nice to have a club headquarters.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll always
Maybe
have
the Crows will get one
up
one
on
day.
The Crows. Well, we welcome suggestions to the Barton, don't we?
That's right. Well, mate, all the very best with the recovery, and we hope that soon we're at a point where I don't feel like Dr. James Wright every time you come in for the segment, because it's just been one thing after another, mate. And we've got to know you well over the years, and we're always cheering you on, not just for good games but for good health. So all the very best, Raz.
Appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
Good luck to Port this weekend. Of course, hopefully they can get up above Essendon for a second time this year. Orazio Fantasia, all thanks to Foodland, with more stores close to home and everyday low prices. Great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Right now with Bupa, get up to 10 weeks free when you join on eligible products. Plus, 300 everyday rewards dollars. T's and C's apply. But hurry, offer ends June 30, so search Bupa 10 weeks free today.
Here at FIVEAA, we're all about supporting local. Since 1959, you've had no worries with the team from Murray's. Call Murray Pest Control on 8334 1000 for a free pest control quote today.
Good Life Health Club is good for an end of financial year sale, keeping it fresh with Reform Pilates, HIIT classes and more. Good for training your way with 24/7 access at over 90 locations. Good for an end of financial year sale, where if you join now, you get 20% off select memberships, plus up to 4 weeks free. Can you really tell us you're not good for that? Visit goodlife.com.au. T's and C's apply. Offer ends midnight June 30. Good Life, good for life.
If you're looking for exceptional value for money in a new car with all the features, you'll find it in a new or demo Cherry Motor 5 from Cherry Glen Osmond. It is such an impressive motor vehicle. The tech alone in the Cherry Motor 5 is light years ahead of any car in its class. It has all your standard luxuries, including customisable voice commands. You can say things like, "I'm cold," and the Motor 5 will turn up the heat. Tell it that you're hot and the temperature will drop. The list just goes on. And it's all from just $33,000 drive away with immediate delivery. Even less Yes for a demo model available right now. Plus, the Cherry Motor 5 comes with a 7-year warranty, 5-star safety and fixed price servicing. So book a test drive, visit gocherry.com.au or call into Cherry Glen Osmond on Glen Osmond Road next to Formula Honda.
Hi, I'm Peter Berkowitz from Berkowitz Furniture. When winter comes, there's nothing quite like enjoying time at home. So make home more comfortable and more stylish for less at the Berkowitz Winter Style Sale. You'll save up to 40% with heavily reduced end-of-season models. There's special pricing on all new orders too. With beautiful Australian furniture you can customise to your own impeccable style. Don't miss the final week of the Winter Style Sale at Berkowitz. We're a furniture family. Marland Homemaker Centre.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 15 with the 8:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
A double murder investigation's underway after toxicology reports showed a Hackham couple were both poisoned a year apart. Abby Smith has more.
Major crime detectives say they believe an elderly married couple were both murdered by the same person. Brenda and Linton Anderson, both 94, died a year apart in 2022 and 23. Police now say abnormalities were found in their toxicology reports, with prescription medication found in their systems. Anyone who may have any information are being asked to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
The end of an era with Balfours no longer in SA hands. It's been sold to an interstate rival. Oz Pico from WA will officially take the reins on August the 1st. CEO Bruce Federoff telling Seven they want to grow the brand nationally.
It's a business as usual plan at this point in time to grow the brand. Currently the market for Balfours is about 85% in South Australia, and we look to take it nationally.
No job losses are expected at this stage, but the new owners aren't ruling out redundancies down the track. Corruption findings against Gladys Berejiklian could be the subject of legal action. The former New South Wales Premier says she always worked her hardest in the public interest, and the report's being examined by her legal team. She will not be charged, and there was no evidence she benefited financially. Her former partner Daryl Maguire could face charges though. Major airlines are blaming bad weather for the cancellation of flights in and out of Sydney. Dozens of services have been affected. Only one runway is operating due to forecast gusty winds. Melbourne has been shaken by another earthquake, this time a magnitude 4.6. Christina Hearn has details.
This latest quake hit about 127 kilometres east of Melbourne near Rawson at 1:32 this morning at a depth of 7 kilometres. Many Melburnians were shaken awake, including Magda Jabansky, who wrote on social media, "Earthquake again?" According to Geoscience Australia, more than 7,000 people have lodged that they felt the quake right across the state. It's the latest in a string of tremors to hit Victoria, including Sunbury just last month, which was upgraded to a magnitude 4. Melbourne was rocked by a record-breaking 5.8 quake in September 2021.
We're being urged to reflect on how we spend our time online this World Social Media Day. The online platforms have transformed the way we communicate, becoming an integral part of many people's lives. Acting E-Safety Commissioner Toby Dagg says when it comes to communicating online, it's crucial parents understand what platform their kids are using and why.
But even those children who are 13 and over may need some guidance and support to understand what they're seeing online. And parents should open those lines of communications with their children so that if anything does go wrong, their children know exactly where to turn to.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get 10-year warranty and 10 years capped price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide forward Orazio Fantasia admits his latest injury setback is very frustrating. The 27-year-old strained his hamstring playing in the Sandful for the Maggies, and he's told David and Lucy he just has to focus on a quick recovery.
The most frustrating part about this is it's not a significant injury. It's a tiny little strain in my hamstring that it'll probably dismiss this week. And that's where I guess the frustration comes from, because I was just starting to build some form.
Yeah, disappointing. Meantime, Joe Danaher has booted 5 goals as Brisbane thumped Richmond by 81 points at the Gabba. Hugh McCluggage and Lachie Neale were dominant in the midfield with 34 disposals each. Well, Steve Smith has made a century while Nathan Lyon was injured on day 2 of the second Ashes test at Lords. Jordan Tunbridge reports.
Another remarkable knock from Steve Smith to sit equal second on the all-time list of Australian test century makers.
Yes, come on! Drives it beautifully through the offside. 32nd test match hundred for Steve Smith. His second at Lords. We are witnessing greatness.
Smith went out on 110 runs before Australia was dismissed for 416. In reply, England 4 for 278 at stumps. There are fears Nathan Lyon could miss the rest of the series. He hobbled from the field with a calf injury late in the day.
It didn't look good, unfortunately. And in some tennis, former world number 1 Caroline Wozniacki is making a comeback after retiring in 2020. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
In Darlington, there's a crash on Flagstaff Road near Highland Avenue, another at Paralowie on Waterloo Corner Road at Whites Road, and another at Wingfield on Salisbury Highway approaching the Port River Expressway. That's causing heavy delays for Citybound. In Nairn, there's a vehicle blocking the left lane of the freeway up track just after the Mount Barker Road exit. Check your speed, Whites Road, Paralowie. Aussie-owned The Lottery Office has a massive $558 million up for grabs in the USA Mega Lotto. Visit lotteryoffice.com.au now before it's gone. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Showers and 15 today, a shower or two tomorrow, 16, partly cloudy Sunday, 15, and cloudy for Monday, 14. At the moment, 12. More news as it happens on 5AA.
5AA Breakfast with David and Lucy.
Test drive the Cherry Emotive 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
8:36 on your Friday morning. Matthew Pantelis is up after 9 o'clock. If you jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream, Dave and I have been joined in studio by a guest. We'd like to welcome the Federal Minister for the National Disability Insurance Scheme, Bill Shorten. Good morning to you, Minister.
Hi, Lucy. Hi, David.
Now, I just said on air after the 8 o'clock news, Minister, that I only just remembered that you're a Collingwood fan, and that if I'd remembered this yesterday when your office contacted us to say that you're in town, I might have told you to get stuffed.
Well,
after what happened last Sunday. Well, I say that with respect.
Oh, no, I say it. I know you're all lovers of the sport. It's good for football, close football, isn't it? It's exciting. It's exciting.
It was certainly exciting at our house. The remote control flying across the room.
Lordy, lordy, lordy.
Does the federal government have the power to hold like royal commissions into umpiring and Victorian bias and scheduling games?
Let's chuck in a fair bit of whinging and dummy spitting. You know, we can put you all in jail eventually. That's good for football. Good for football. It's good for the viewer experience.
I led with my chin there. Hey, we should talk about much more serious things. Obviously, the NDIS, which is something that you sort of championed it.
Yep,
you were
absolutely.
the big guy behind it. Mm-hmm. Has the NDIS sort of spun out of control though? Because it feels to me that there are so many things now on the margins, and some of this I say as a parent, even things like the genetic predisposition in my family towards something as minor as bad handwriting and fine motor skill issues. I know, and I found it jaw-dropping, that in dealing with some sort of occupational therapy type people around town, getting an NDIS diagnosis for stuff that I regard as sort of first world problems, when you consider what families of kids with Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, things like that have to go through. Do we need to rein it back in?
Well, let's go to that very last part of your observation first. It was people with kids with Down syndrome and cerebral palsy. The scheme is changing lives. So no, I don't think the scheme is out of control, but I do think it's been neglected. Understand, though, David, when we have these conversations about the NDIS, and I do want to go to your questions of waste and, what's happening at the margins, for people who have profound disability, this scheme's been changing their lives. For the people who love them, it's changing their lives. So when we talk about the scheme and say it's out of control, there's a whole lot of legitimate people who panic and say, oh my God, we're going to lose what we've got and it's been so hard to get what we've got. So I just want to say to the listeners, the scheme's here to stay. But we want to make sure that every dollar gets through to the people for whom the scheme was originally designed. So I think the scheme shouldn't be put in the too hard basket. saying it's out of control, it's a disaster, we'll all be ruined. But on the other hand, I think we need to make sure that the initial decisions that are being made are correct. We need to make sure that we have a longer term view rather than just giving people annual plans. It just becomes a hamster wheel chasing the next annual payment. We need to make sure that there's not price overcharging. And allied health professionals are excellent. They do a brilliant job. But it's fair to say that when it comes to some assistive and adaptive technology, some services, there's two prices available in this town. There's the non-NDIS price, and then for the same service or product, then there's an NDIS price. It's like a wedding tax.
Yeah.
And we want to stop that.
But because it feels to me that in some sectors it's almost become like a taxpayer subsidised business model for some businesses to sort of try to encourage parents, well, you know, maybe this is the path you could go down and it's a win-win for both of us. And I think, well, it's not a win-win for the taxpayer, is it?
Well, I've got to make clear that I think most of what's going on is actually okay. It is legit. But you're pointing to sort of the stories which say that, you know, it's some people having a lend to the scheme. I think some service providers are having a lend to the scheme. There's been no checking of invoices by the agency or insufficient checking, and we want to sort that out. We've got to make sure that the services which are being used actually have a benefit for the participant. We've got to make sure there's not an over-servicing where you get more and more hours of service, but it's not making any difference at all. The difficult issue of talking about reforming this scheme is we've got to remember that there are hundreds of thousands of Australians who do live with severe and profound disability, and we want to support them with modest packages of individual support, and they can control the resource rather than it being a bureaucracy or a big organisation. But what's happened is that, you know, there is unethical conduct going on, and by that I mean there's fraud. There is some fraud. We've got to clamp down on that. There's price overcharging. But another dilemma we have is that because the NDIS now exists, it's like a giant tree. Nothing grows in its shadow. And so I've said in plenty of places that one of the challenges to make sure it's not the only lifeboat in the ocean. If you've got, if you're parents and you've got a beautiful little child who's 3 years old, and the child doesn't seem to be taking the developmental journey which you expected, you go to someone and say, well, what's going on? The problem is there's only the NDIS. So what's happening is that people are referring kids to the NDIS to try and get some OT and speech therapy. So what's happened is that states and other health departments, and by the way, I have to say the South Australian Minister for Disability, Nat Cook, and the Autism Minister, Emily Burke, they're actually world-class ministers, so I'm not blaming them, but there is an issue that the states have retreated from the field of general disability services more than was expected. But I'd pick a hospital, it's not just the states. Once upon a time, people with profound disability would go to the outpatients ward of a hospital if they needed a podiatrist. Now I have stories of hospitals saying, oh, that's an NDIS matter, go and see them. So there's a lot of cost shifting, and so the NDIS is in danger of being the only life raft in the ocean.
Did you have a bit of a clunky week as Minister with your language around the 8% target, whether it's a hard target or not in terms of cost overruns? Did you need to sort of clarify some of those remarks?
I accept that not everyone understands the NDIS. We've proposed a target. We're doing 2 stages of reform, and we've announced in the budget that we want to have longer term planning, get better decision making in the agency. We want to crack down on the crooks. We want to crack down on the overcharging. We want to have a look what's happening in the supported independent living sector, and we want the states to do more. But we think with those reforms, we can get to an 8% growth rate rather than the growth rate, which is about 14%.
But is it something you...
Yeah, I'm coming to it.
You're
but
bound
it's
to hit.
important. But see, the problem in the modern media is everyone wants an answer in 3 seconds, and sometimes life's more complicated than 3 seconds. Well, you know, that's it. But you guys are a charming company, so it makes one more garrulous.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's more about Lucy.
But it did seem that you were saying it doesn't matter if we don't hit the target.
No, it's as simple as this. What I was trying to do is explain it's between a cap and a target. The reality is that we've got a target of 8%, and that is what we're absolutely determined to get to with our reforms. But what also happens is people on the scheme of profoundly disabled say, oh, does that mean that every year, if the scheme uses up all its money by May and not June, that we have to wait for anything till July? It is a target, not a cap. So sure, I am more than happy to pick the words which satisfy the media, but also I've got a bigger audience than just the media, dare I say it. It's people with disability. And for me, the conversation for reform is about this. We can run the NDIS and make it the world's best scheme for disability, so long as all our decisions are made in the best interest of the participants on the scheme. So sure, we will get the language right.
Just finally, Bill Shorten, I reckon the last time we spoke to you in the studio was when you were running for Prime Minister. Do you still yearn to do that one day?
No.
It's all done in the past?
No, that's right. It's done in the past. It was a great privilege. It was an unbelievable privilege. My English grandma was a cleaner and a barmaid. She, I had a relative from England said she just wouldn't believe you were even in Parliament, in our family, and my Aussie family came here as convicts and gold miners. So it is an unbelievable privilege to have put myself forward for the leadership of this nation. We got close, but no cigar. Now I've got a really unbelievable privilege of helping fix the NDIS. I do not waste a minute of my time thinking about what could have been, but I just want to spend every second of every minute trying to get the NDIS right and government services. And we've got the Robodebt Royal Commission coming down very soon, so that should make interesting reading.
I know our former mornings host, Leon Biner, did a hell of a lot of work.
Yeah, he was a champion for that.
Absolute disgrace, the way those people were treated.
Leon was a champion for the underdog. How's he getting on?
He's doing well, yeah. I spoke to him. He was honoured, deservedly so, a couple of weeks ago in the Australia Day honours.
Oh, fantastic. I missed that.
I had a chat to him about it. So it was a well-deserved honour. Bill Shorten, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Great to catch up with both of you. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, Bill. Let's check traffic for your run-in this morning. Car battery slow to start. Search RAA battery. Battery replacement only available to RAA road service holders. T's and C's apply.
Got a crash at Darlington on Flagstaff Road near Highland Avenue, another at Paralawi on Waterloo Corner Road at Whites Road, and another at Wingfield on Salisbury Highway approaching the Port River Expressway. That's causing heavy delays for city-bound. In Nairn, there's a breakdown on the freeway uptrack just after the Mount Barker Road exit. Check your speed trimmer parade Seaton. What's for dinner? How about a Porto's whole chicken feed? Whole flame grilled chicken, 2 pita bread, 2 dipping sauces and choice of share side. Just $27.95 at a Porto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
On 5AA mornings today, the cost of living to take another hit with fees and charges rising across South Australia. From tomorrow, we'll meet Bill Buster Joel Gibson and the latest research into vitamin D showing it could prevent heart attacks. They're two of the topics after 9. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Look forward to your company then.
Live cheaper with Cheapest Chips and a financial year sale. Cheapest Chips. Save a huge 40% off selected blankets and throws. Get 25% off selected furniture. Spoil your pet with a whopping 40% off selected pet toys. Save $100 on a 7-kilo Germanica tumble dryer, now only $3.49. And get fit cheaper indoors this winter with $100 off the fitness treadmill, now only $2.99. Check out this week's catalogue and live cheaper with Cheapest Chips and a financial year sale.
Soak up the winter rain and huge savings at Vidaulis Garden Centre's massive end of financial year sale. Get 20% off everything in store. That's 20% off outdoor furniture, 20% off all plants, 20% off pots and potting mix, 20% off giftware and homewares. Yes, that's 20% off everything. On now till Sunday, Vidaulis Garden Centre's end of financial year sale, Main North Road, Gawler, opposite the racecourse. Some conditions apply.
Now, this is a sensitive topic, but it's an important one. Have you or a loved one served in the Australian Navy, Army or Air Force? The Royal Commission into Defence and Veteran Suicide wants to hear about your military experience. It could be about suicide or mental health or other aspects of military life, such as recruitment, training, deployment, leadership, culture, injury management, transition back to civilian life or family support. By sharing your story, you'll help the Commission create a safer, stronger and better ADF. Submissions close October 13. The number to call is 1800 329 095. That's 1800 329 095. Or visit the website defenceveteransuicide.royalcommission.gov.au. And if you are struggling, please give Lifeline a call, 131114 for 24/7 crisis support.
This month, all kids 14 and under get to go to the footy for free.
What about that?
That's all games between rounds 16 and 19 of the 2023 Toyota AFL Premiership season. From selfies to screamers and tasty treats.
Spectacular!
Make it an awesome day for the family with a day out at the footy. Kids go free rounds 16 to 19.
Boy, oh boy, wow-wee!
Go to afl.com.au/kidsmonth. Terms and conditions apply, subject to capacity and availability.
5AA Breakfast with David and Lucy.
The Cherry Amoda 5. State-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
8:49 on this Friday. Matthew Pantelis is up after the 9 o'clock news. We've got time to squeeze in a few more Dutton's text line. David, check out all the end of FIVEAA offers at Dutton's dealerships in Mount Barker and Murray Bridge.
Quite a bit of feedback about our interview with Bill Shorten about the NDIS. One from Arthur saying way too many people are claiming a disability when they are not significantly disabled. It's become a cash cow for the public, and this bloke needs to redefine the plans. One here. Please ask Minister Shorten why it takes the NDIS 6 to 8 weeks to pay invoices from tradespeople. Small business cannot cope with that hit to their cash flow. That's why they charge NDIS participants a lot more. Scott says Bill Shorten is a great minister. You can see now the pressure of party leadership is off. His personality seems to come through, unlike the robotic version he tried to portray as opposition leader. Thanks for that, Scott.
Had a few texts there as well, all to do with our meat tray about renaming Adelaide. Someone is walking away with a meat tray from Corinthian Meats, all thanks to Peter, Harry and the team down there at 206 Henley Beach Road, Torrensville. Nick, inspired by Breaking 8, says we should be called John Setkaville. Thank you for that, Nick. And Con, I can't read Greek, but I think he's actually written... I think that looks like Constantine in Greek. I think Con has actually signed off, I don't know how he did it, in Greek, on the text line saying that we should be renamed the Athens of the South. And someone says, I'd like to rename Adelaide Theberton, because that way the 5031 group would get just everything, not just everything they want, but everything. I think I read that wrong. Ryan says we should call Adelaide Oz, and then we can call the Premier the Wizard. Thank you for that, Ryan. David, a moment ago you asked Bill Shorten if he wanted to be Prime Minister ever again. He defiantly said, no, that part of my life's done. What do you reckon? I think he knows it's in the past. I don't think he'd ever try to, do the old Lazarus with a triple bypass, to use a John Howardism. Then again, John Howard said Lazarus with a triple bypass and ended up becoming Prime Minister for 11 years. Well. So one person who's probably not going to become Prime Minister at any stage after the ICAC finding against her yesterday is the former Premier of New South Wales, Gladys Berejiklian. I know what it is about. Well, I do know what it is about Sydney. It's a convict town. And the number of people, and this is not aimed so much at Gladys Berejiklian, it's aimed at her ex-boyfriend, Daryl Maguire, the member for Wagga Wagga. That guy is just the absolute dictionary definition gouger, wheeler dealer, Walter Mitty-style fantasist. And, this might sound too sympathetic towards Berejiklian, but it almost feels to me like she's this lonely woman with a crap job, working long hours. She found love with some bloke, and only with the benefit of hindsight does she now recognise that he was a useless bloody drongo. And so many of those intercepted phone calls that she had with him, you could tell she wasn't even really paying attention. And that's her greatest crime. She should have been, because she's the Premier. But he's crapping on about, I need this road funding for Wagga, and I need this business is on my back. I need the government to help me out with this, and then, I'm rezoning this farm, and if this happens, I'm going to make some money out of it. Like, if she had a wits about her, she would have just said, hey, mate, listen, I don't need to know any of this stuff. And then she would have made a phone call to someone saying, I think Daryl's up to no good. Instead, she just acted because she was dizzy with love. She acted slothfully, and as a result, she's now the third Liberal Premier in New South Wales history, along with Nick Greiner and Barry O'Farrell, to have a corruption finding against her by the very entity that the Liberals themselves created after the Rann years. Just an extraordinary place. So many politicians have been slotted by ICAC there, and, it's on account of, I think, the sort of lower standards of decency in public life over there, which you can trace back to the city's roots. There you go. An insight into New South Wales politics by David Penberthy. It's one of the things that makes it so great as a place to work as a journo. The only place in Australia where you need a police scanner to cover Parliament properly. Just before we get to the best of behind closed doors, Blakey is, of course, on holidays, so we've got best of this morning. We've had an email from Mike and I've just had a quick look at this, Mike. If I had a bit more time, I'd delve into it. But the Summit Leisure Park in Mount Barker has been put up for sale by the Mount Barker District Council. That is the site of the Gather Round game this year. You can check it out at realcommercial.com.au. So I've jumped on there. And yes, the site of the leisure park, the Summit Leisure Park in Mount Barker, has gone up for sale. Sale expression of interest closing Thursday, 20th of July, 50 hectares. So if you would like to be a purchaser of the Summit Leisure Park in Mount Barker site of the Gather Round game this year, jump onto realcommercial.com.au and you can Google Mount Barker and you'll see exactly the footy ground, some sports ovals and some more parklands. That is all up for sale.
Now, Luce, knowing what a francophile you are, courtesy of my good friend Dave the Butcher at Good Quality Meats, as a little parting gift for this excellent week together and the great job that you've done in the hot seat there, knowing what a francophile you are, after the program we're going to have some French sourdough bread with some beautiful French-style country pâté that Dave the Butcher has given us as a little congratulations for the excellent job you've done.
Thank you, Dave the Butcher. Thank you, Dave, the radio host. Appreciate that. Thanks for bringing in food. We never say no to food here at breakfast time. It's very kind.
And we avoided the temptation to actually sit here munching on air because it's not really, it's the worst sound in the world, isn't it, hearing other people eat?
Yeah, I know, Will. We were talking earlier about things that set people off, and you ranted about some things in the workplace.
The word proactive.
Will's thing is not only pea super, it's the sound of people eating.
Yeah.
Insight into Will while he's not here. Will will be back in a week's time. Shall we award our meat tray winner? Meat tray this morning, all thanks to the team at Corinthian Meats. They've got meats for cooking on charcoal, chivapcha cheese, 1,000 types of traditional shazliks per week. Call in and see Peter, Harry and the team. 206 Henley Beach Road, Torrensville. Who do we like?
Well, from a very, very, very crowded field, Brad, Julie, where can we start? Look, I really like Darren Gawler with his the old Shaq-inspired "Did you bring your grog along?" That was good. Now it's got quite a sort of First Nations ring to it as well.
Yeah, the old multiple words joined into one to make a long title. I think that's quite apt for Adelaide.
Good on you, Darren. Thank you, mate.
Darren. Let's go to best of behind closed doors before we round out the show. Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed,
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
And welcome back to 5AA Breakfast. And David Penberthy, welcome back to you too.
Yeah, g'day, Will. How you going?
Oh, I'm really well, David.
Renee, hot water.
And for a look at weekend sport, Tom Wren has joined us in the studio. Good morning to you, Rennie.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, David. Boy, oh boy, what a start it was to the week of footy. I was lucky enough to call the game with Rowie, and what a win. Brilliant win.
Yep.
A gutsy win. Brisbane threw everything at them, but the Crows just absorbed the pressure and were dynamic. Tex Walker kicked 3 goals. Isaac Rankin was wonderful.
Oh, yeah, when Rankin's on, he's the most on guy in football, isn't he?
David, it was one of the goals of the year, without a doubt, running towards that southern end because, of course, that's where the goals were, so he did the right thing there. Fantastic.
Oh, yeah, and what about Rochelli's goal?
Rochelli's goal was brilliant as well. A fabulous win for the Crows, back in the 8, and the goal for them now has to be finals football, forgetting conveniently for the moment that we're not even halfway through the season.
Yeah, that's it, Rennie, and I think what makes the Crows even better is the fact that we beat Port in the showdown, and at the time we didn't think much of it because we thought we were better than Port, but now that we've realised that Port is so much better than us, it makes it a much better win.
Yeah, that's right, Will. The showdown and Brisbane, both signature wins.
Oh, absolutely, because both those teams are so much better than us.
Yeah, and that's great for the Crows, and the big test will be the next game against Gold Coast in Darwin, and they're there all this week.
Oh, yeah, they'll all be at the Mindle Beach markets having a laksa for dinner.
That's right, David, and so because it is in Darwin, it'll be slippery because of the dew, and that with the laksa for dinner and the fact that Gold Coast aren't better than us, we're not going to win that one.
No, that's right.
Port Adelaide had a win against Richmond. It wasn't pretty again, even though I probably didn't watch it. I would have been preparing for the Crows game. The inside 50s weren't good. The similarity between Jason Horne-Francis and Miles Bergman is confusing for everybody. Scott Lycett's haircut isn't popular with a lot of fans. Richmond had a really good crack at them, but the power withstood it.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, here's some good news. Do you know someone who would benefit from a brand new computer? Just head to fiveaa.com.au to enter. Thanks to Leader Computers, the largest 100% Australian computer brand based right here in SA. I love when Blakey does Rennie. No doubt there'll be plenty of fodder next week. It is Tom Rand and myself for Brekkie all next week because, David, you're off on your 2-week break.
Yep.
Lucky you.
2 weeks off. It's going to be fun. Playing a bit of golf with my son on Monday. Going to go to the Frida Kahlo exhibition with my daughter on Tuesday. Going to the footy tomorrow with Kate. It's going to be nice. Then heading away for a week in the tropics to get warm. So, Luce, have a great time over the next fortnight. You've done a brilliant job, mate, and I really do. In all sincerity, I really love working with you. It's good fun.
Oh, thanks, Dave. We'll see you in a fortnight. We'll see Will in a week's time. Coming up after 9 o'clock, it is Matthew Pantelis. But on Brekkie next week, myself and Tom Wren have a wonderful weekend.
Harvey Norman open until late tonight. Shop for tax time essentials, and what you buy could be tax deductible.